ThunderCats!
Thunder!
Hey, how are you? I'm Larry Kenny, the voice of Lynx-O, here today for my good friends Ryan and David. You may know if you listen to the podcast Radical Retro Rewind.
I love it. All of it.
Radical Retro Remix.
She even looks older.
You like my art collection?
Yeah, we've heard that one before, Mummy.
What is it? I heard him shout.
Oh yeah, ThunderCats Ho!
Who you calling a hoe?
Welcome back, Bunglers, to Season 2 of ThunderCats Recap and Reviews, brought to you by the Radical Retro Rewind podcast. As always, I am your host, Radical Ryan Hunter, here with everyone's favorite brother, David, and our amazing special guest and friend, Zack, is back to talk ThunderCats Ho, the movie. Welcome back, Zack.
Thanks. Hi, Ryan. Hi, David. And hello, Bunglers.
We are so excited to have you. We had a great time the last time and have been looking forward to this. So I'm excited to see what happens.
It's great to be back.
So we had promised the last time Zack was on, we were going to talk about our convention experience. In the excitement of our episodes, that was completely forgotten about. And
we forgot.
So this is a long time coming, but if our bunglers remember, during the summer, I want to say, was it the summer?
It was. I was going back last night to see when it was, and I was going back through our messages and I stopped scrolling. I gave up. So yeah, it was like, I think it was the early summer.
A lifetime ago, truly, it feels like. And we met for the first time, and we were going to meet the cast of ThunderCats. Of course, you might remember that Lynn Lipton had an unfortunate leg incident.
It was a 2-day convention. We went on the second day, but she had, I think, twisted her ankle on the first day, and so she sat out the second day, so we didn't get to meet her.
And then the other thing was, Zack, I had been trying to find out with Larry on Instagram when the panel was going to be. He said it was going to be the day that we were going. That was another thing, scheduling wise. I think he said his manager or someone told him that it was going to happen that day, but it ended up being the first day as well.
Yeah, so we missed that too, yeah. But we still got to meet them, and it was delightful. I mean, I think you and I both were very nervous, probably for no good reason, but we were both pretty nervous. And they had like a whole table set up with banners. They clearly like have this whole thing ready to go for multiple conventions because it's all like branded and designed. And Larry Kenny was there, voice of Lynx-O, and Peter Newman was there, voice of Tigra. And they had these big banners with all the characters that they've voiced on them. And we got to speak to them and have them sign things for us. I had them sign my copy of Hear the Roar, and we got to take selfies.
That was the best. So Peter has a lovely wife. We're assuming it's wife because
he called her Mrs. Tigra. That's right.
We don't know, but wonderful woman. So what did she say to you about the toilet, Zack? There was something about toilet.
So directly across. So we got to know her and chat with her because she wanted to take photos. She took multiple photos, none of which were, I mean, they're great. I will treasure them forever. But she was very eager, so I let her do it. But yeah, right across from their tables, there was a big art display of different, because it's a convention, lots of different pop culture, fandoms represented. And there was this artist who'd made pieces of artwork of different characters, superheroes, sitting on the toilet. Marvel, DC, everything, but no ThunderCats. And she joked. She said, "I don't know why are there no ThunderCats on the toilet."
I honestly would have loved that if we had a Mumm-Ra sitting on a toilet.
Well, he has bandages. He can use his toilet paper.
So this woman had an amazing personality. She clearly got a kick out of it.
ThunderCats use litter boxes, people. They use a litter box. They're cats.
You know what?
Wow.
I didn't even think of that.
The cat's lair has a whole litter box room somewhere. It's just wall-to-wall sand. It's a sandbox. Poor Snarf has to scoop it.
You think Snarf?
Snarf.
Oh, yep. Zach's like, yeah, Snarf.
Don't you remember when Mumm-Ra went in and he said, when we did the American Horror Story, I can't stay here. This place smells of cat piss.
I could only imagine. We also got our professional photo, David, taken.
They had a whole setup with a professional photographer, and there weren't that many folks. It was like you, me, one other guy who was there with his girlfriend, and then like a big family, and the kids clearly had no idea what was going on. It was like 4 or 5 people, and then I think only one other group. It was a small convention, so it's not.
Yes, it's true. It's relatively small. Usually with these things, sometimes the photo lines go on. You know, I've gone to conventions for like the Charmed cast and stuff, and those lines go on for hours sometimes. It was not that. It was not that, but they were so appreciative of the fans, Zach. You could tell that it just, to me, it looks like they were just so happy doing it.
Yeah, I think that, I think they really enjoy doing it. Larry, if you follow him on Instagram, is always posting about different places where he's going to be. He's going to be in New York, I think this weekend, or maybe it's sometime soon in Queens. By the time this airs, it might have already happened. But yeah, I think interactions with fans are heartwarming. And I think here we are 38 years later, still talking about it, still loving it. I would imagine that as an artist who worked on it, that would be really fulfilling and heartwarming to get to meet people who still love the thing that you participated in.
And the joy and just the kindness in their just face. I can't even just say it. They just were so warm. Although, like Zach said, we were so nervous. As you were talking to them, they put you at ease because they make you feel, really important at the moment.
Yeah. And at the same time, I didn't want to monopolize their time, although I probably could have talked to them a lot longer. Like, if there'd been a panel, I think you and I both had some questions prepared that we would have asked. But
especially for Lynn.
Maybe next time.
I know you were going to show Lynn.
Oh, yeah. No, I didn't have it. And I've since lost it.
No, really?
Yeah, I left it in a hotel in Los Angeles. I have a bracelet with a Chitara quote on it. And
was it gold? Was it made of gold though?
No, and I just reordered it, and I should have ordered it in gold, but I ordered it in silver. Damn it!
Chitara loves her gold.
Well, she might have. Maybe she would steal it if it were gold. So better that it's silver.
It's so true.
And you wouldn't even seen her coming. Back and forth, quick.
Where'd it go? Yeah, I had questions. I wanted to show her that, and I had questions about. I feel like I've watched on YouTube. I've watched panels they've done, and they tend to answer a lot of the same questions. And so I wanted to ask them less about their experience because I feel like that's pretty well documented. I wanted to ask them about other people who maybe have died over the past few years, to know like what it was like to work with them. And then after we met them and did our photos, we had time in between. We had time to just explore the floor, and it was 2 floors, mostly like a combination of artists and
pop vinyls. Right?
Lots. Oh my god, so many pop vinyls. But yeah, a mix of like original art and merchandise and vintage collectibles.
And what did you find, Zach?
We found this one vendor booth that had a bunch of vintage stuff, including some ThunderCats things. They had a Thunder Tank. They had, I think, a few Thunder Tanks, including one in the box. But they had a Panthro, an LJN Panthro, with his nunchucks. If you're a collector, you know that, Panther's nunchucks tend to break. The little chain breaks off, and it's hard. It's not impossible, but it's challenging to find them complete for a good price. And I was holding him, and I was like thinking about it, and this guy walked by, and he's like, "You should do it. He's got the chucks." You got to do it for the chucks.
The truth.
So I did it for the chucks. And I negotiated. I haggled a little bit.
Love a good haggle.
That was just a blast. That was actually Zach and I's first time meeting in person, and just the whole entire day was just so fun. Just so fun.
Yeah.
And rewarding. I
am sorry to hear about that Lynn wasn't there for you guys, because I know that would have been a highlight for both of you. So, I mean, obviously these things happen, but I know that I could tell when Ryan was like, "Oh, and something happened with Lynn. She got hurt," and I was like, "Oh, wah, wah."
I think because we hold Chitara so high up, and we always joke about it on this show, but Lynn doing, at the time, every female voice is just so impressive still to me to this day. So I did want to bring that up to her. Like, how did you feel doing every female voice?
Taxed. She felt taxed.
She did it. So just loved having that experience. Hopefully we will meet more of actually, I'm trying to think if from the surviving cast, are they pretty much...
The Jerry and Raphael is still alive. Doug Priest is still alive. Bob McFadden's son is a voice actor.
Is he? I love that.
And then a lot of the writers are still around and are still writing.
You know what also happened, by the way, on our winter vacation? Is that what we're calling this? The winter vacation? January. Our January 2-week break. We had our first ThunderCat review on Apple.
Yay! Somebody's listening. Somebody. Well, I mean, we get people commenting all the time, but it's always on YouTube, right? That's the thing.
Yes.
Is that if you're not in the podcast world, people don't realize that in order to be suggested by a certain platform, you have to have reviews on that platform. So we could be wildly popular. I'd like to say that we're wildly popular. Wildly popular on YouTube. Yeah, YouTube, but it would never translate into an Apple or Spotify or any other platform. So make comments, a thumbs up, anything, a heart, send an emoji. I don't care.
A review and a 5-star rating.
Yes. You heard it from Zack. So they say, hello there. My name is Juan, and I've been a bungler since January. Now that warms my heart. This was December, so it's not this January, everybody. This was the year before. I found your podcast while looking for ThunderCats content, and now your destination hearing on Friday mornings. Thank you so much. I'm so looking forward to your review of ThunderCats Season 2. My favorite. I love that. I love that. And what you guys will bring in 2024. Best wishes, Wano. Thank you,
Wano.
Juan.
Ho.
Thank you so much. Truly, it was a shock. So that was a Christmas gift for us. So thank you.
Thank you so much.
I also want to shout out to Cybertron Maximal on Instagram, who also let us know that they are a bungler and they are also excited for season 2. I love this. I love this, Zack. Do you love the season 2 love?
Yeah, I didn't expect it. As the series goes on from season to season, there's a lot of, skepticism and derision thrown at some of those episodes. But I said this last time that because I grew up seeing them all out of order, that distinction never clicked for me. So the whole show, I have the same feelings about the whole show and have a lot of favorite episodes in these later seasons, including the ones we're talking about today.
Very nice segue. Thank you for that segue. Thank you for that marvelous introduction.
Truly. So like Zack said, this is ThunderCats Ho, the movie. Although if you were watching this as a 5-part adventure, it would be September 8th of 1986. Welcome 1986 through the 12th. And this consists of episodes 66 through 70 of the original series. Thank you to the ThunderCats Wikipedia for the synopsis and our lovely Leah for the audio that we will be using today. Where do we begin? Zack, there is a dramatic recap / new look at our exodus in the first episode.
Lynx-O! Where are you? Lynx-O!
I'm here, Jaga! Over here!
Come, Lynx-O! We must get away while we still can!
Get away? But my home, Jaga!
We must seek a new home, Lynx-O! Be brave, my young lord! Thundera is no more!
This was presented as a movie, Zack, as ThunderCats Ho. We mentioned it got split up, but do you have a preference in your viewing of this?
I think it plays really well as a contiguous movie. It's hard to just consider them as individual episodes. And I'm excited that we're going to talk about it like a movie, start to finish, because I think that there are some overarching themes and things that go through all 5 parts that are really fun to think about and talk about. It was produced and aired in 1986 after season 1 of ThunderCats finished at the end of 1985. In 1986, Rankin Bass was really focused on Silverhawks, their other big cartoon, and so ThunderCats Ho aired during that year, and then it wasn't until 1987 that the rest of season 2 started. And sometimes it aired as 5 episodes, sometimes it aired as a contiguous movie. I have a VHS tape that I got when I was 11 or 12 from some local New York station, and it's the movie version. So I think it aired both ways. And then obviously it was released on VHS in the UK as a movie, which sadly we never got here.
Which, are you surprised with that? That always surprised me that we had been getting the VHS releases. I know the UK is big on tapes at the same time. I knew that the He-Man and She-Ra, and they did all of those as well, but I was so surprised we didn't get this here on VHS as well in the movie format. It always was something that it's like, it makes so much sense because we were still in the height of VHS tapes and movies. The Secret of the Sword, which I might compare this movie to a few times, with that kind of movie that becomes broken up into 5 separate episodes kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, VHS tapes or video rentals were a big part of that era, but they were also a marketing tool for the show itself. So you see an episode at the video store, you rent it, then you start watching it on TV where there are ads. Maybe by the time 86 rolled around, maybe it was already the number one show. Like, do they need to grow the audience more? Maybe not. So
true.
Like all the VHS releases in the US and everywhere except for the movie in the UK were season 1 episodes. So that whole marketing apparatus just all happened during the first season and then sort of dwindled as the show kept going over the next 3 years. But I still would love to have an official VHS that I can play in my VCR without it looking garbled.
You have this amazing knowledge like this, and I think we might have spoken about it too with clips from different countries, but isn't it with PAL, I believe it's called, isn't the sound sped up usually?
In the UK, electricity runs at 50 hertz, whereas here it's at 60 hertz. So television and video signals need to be factors of those numbers. So like in the US, television is at 30 frames per second, roughly. And in the UK, it's at 25. So that's why sometimes when you see transfers of things that were in PAL and they were transferred poorly, you'll hear a difference in the sound because the original might have been at 24 or at 30, but then it was converted to 25, and then now you're converting it back. So there can be like weird distortion. Yeah. If you put a PAL videotape in your NTSC VCR and play it, not only will the picture be all screwed up because the signal is written differently, when you hear the sound, if it comes through, it will be the wrong speed.
It will deafen you. No.
That too. It will. Yeah. It'll put you into a trance. So sometimes it aired as one contiguous movie, like in prime time, maybe. I don't know, that would be really exciting. Like sit down at night with your family and watch the movie. I don't know if that actually happened, but I like to imagine that it did. Or it was 5 separate episodes. And when it aired as 5 separate episodes, there were little like intro and outro bumpers, like coming up this, in this episode and next time, tune in for this. Whereas the movie version doesn't have that. The movie version has some other differences too, to shorten it for time. And we can talk about those at the end. There's some fun ways that they deleted scenes, but still have the story feel continuous. And it changes the vibe of some parts.
Ooh, okay. Much like when Panthro's nunchuck scenes are deleted, I still don't know how that flows in an episode if Panthro is fighting somebody in the UK version. It's just like...
It must be very disorienting.
That's what I'm thinking, Zach, that if you're in a fight and Panthro pulls this out, where do you cut to? Where does the cut happen?
Yeah, what's he doing in the, what shot do you pull? He's like just sitting in a chair.
Or it zooms in? Does it zoom in?
Oh, maybe it zooms in.
You just see this moving around? Oh my god. UK bunglers, let us know. Tell us how those cuts happened. Season 2 is epic in a lot of ways because we get new music cues as well, which I love. A lot of these new, the first season has classic songs. These fit right in.
Some of my favorite scenes that we'll talk about today are the music is what heightens them for me and makes them so exciting. Yeah, Bernard Hoffer wrote a whole bunch of new music, and it's put to really good use in this movie. And it's in their songs. We use the word songs. I guess that's right. They're compositions that I remember as a kid finding episodes where they would play with very little dialogue and just looping them so I could just listen to the music.
Yes, trying to get your own version of this song. I've been trying to do this too with this to try to get the background music. It's not working too well because I want to get that new. What did you call it? Is it the Thunderstrike song?
There's two. There's the one of them plays at the end of part 1. The other one plays at the beginning of part 2. One is the adventure theme is like that do 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 with the trumpets. And the vehicle theme is ba-da-bum, ba-dum, ba-da-ba, ba-dum, which feels almost more Silverhawks, because he was writing this music at the same time he was writing Silverhawks music.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah.
That it's like blurring kind of together, because how did we not get an official release of this epic soundtrack yet?
I don't want to get angry. Don't ask.
WB, they'll find Radical Mummy. They'll find our Radical Bungler mummies.
Oh, on the t-shirt, yeah.
on the t-shirt, but they won't find that soundtrack in their archives. You tell me, that would be a instant moneymaker. I know I'd buy it.
I'm sure someone has counted the beans and decided that it's not worth it. It's very frustrating.
What a way to begin season 2. If you're watching this in the single form, again, we're doing this as the movie per se, but you get that little today on ThunderCats. So if you're hyped for that, actually, this is the perfect time to bring this up, Zach. What do you feel about the theme not being updated? Even just a clip of, I told David, why not add Bengali, Mumm-Ra, and Lynx-O just in the shot of the when they, that ThunderCats heads peek in normally. I feel like that would have been an easier way to add them in without redoing the whole grand intro.
In the movie version, and sometimes during the individual episodes, the intro sequence gets a ThunderCats Ho, the movie title treatment over the cat signal, but they never made any other changes to the intro. And I could see them wanting to maybe wait until after the movie. More new characters are coming, in the next 5-parter and further down the line. But it's a good question. Why didn't they update the intro? On the one hand, why mess with perfection? Like, that intro is like the best cartoon intro of the era. But it would have been nice to feature more characters. It would have made it feel more refreshed. And this movie does a really good job of injecting new life into the show and like really setting us up for the next 65 episodes. Leonard Starr, he wrote these 5 episodes, he wrote this movie. He's responsible for the entire show, really. He wrote the series Bible, he wrote the first 4 episodes, he created the entire world. He's a very talented world builder. And so he wrote this 5-part series, and he wrote the next one too, that you'll talk about in your next episode, where he really like flexes those world building muscles and gives us new characters, new locations, really sets the stage for the future. But here, it's funny, he says that he was asked to write this. He was notoriously, at least according to Jules Bass and Peter Lawrence, kind of difficult to work with, and so they would just give him these projects like, here, write these anointment trials. Here, write this 5-parter. Oh, write this 5-parter too. We'll let you operate in a little bubble so we don't have to deal with you. That's their perspective. I don't know how much of it is true.
He's a genius, at least.
But that's often with extremely creative people, that they are sometimes in their own world. So it may, from the outside looking in, look like they are being difficult, but at the same time, like we had talked about how Tim Burton went crazy because they were going to change something and started kicking stuff, right?
Yeah, we read
for what movie?
In Nightmare Before Christmas. The ending, he kicked a hole in the wall.
Oh my goodness!
Supposedly. So I mean, to the outside looking in, that person might have said, "Oh God, he has a violent streak," but to somebody else might say that you're his whole world. You're trying to change this whole vision that he had, and it means that much to them. So I don't know.
That's true. We wouldn't have this world if it weren't for him. So I'm sure he held it very dear to himself, felt a lot of ownership over it. But in this case, he was asked to write this and to like, he says, what does he say? He's like, it was purely commercial. In 1986, LJN was releasing a new series of action figures, and a lot of those characters are squeezed into this 5-parter. It's sort of like an all-star cast of favorite characters from season 1.
Yes,
I
love this.
Many of whom have new toys on the shelves. When it first starts and you get this like this intro before the intro sequence, you get this like preview of what's to come, and they cram so many characters into there. It's characters you're not going to see for 3 or 4 episodes. They cram in there just to like give them some face time at the beginning and let you know, oh, they're coming, and maybe you should, if you see them on the toy shelf.
Were the ThunderCats the only ones to escape from the exploding planet of Thundera? No, there were 3 others, Mumm-Ra, Lynx-O, and Bengali, saved at the last moment and brought to Third Earth. Will they escape the clutches of Mumm-Ra, Hammerhand, and Rataro? Can Snowman and Hachiman help against such evil? Watch today's episode of ThunderCats and stay with us all week for this special 5-part adventure.
But even though there's this like commercial aspect to why he was asked to write it this way, I think he does 2 things really well. A lot of them were secondary characters that he didn't create, like Hachiman, Snowman, Captain Shiner, Rataro, but he takes them and he writes them so well. I think that's worth saying, and we'll talk about it as it goes along. He handles them really well.
Truly a genius.
He doesn't just include them because he has to. He makes good use of them.
So you thought they were alone on Thundera? You thought You knew how it went. You thought Lion-O was awakened from his bed in the middle of the night. Well, what do we find out that actually happened?
Yeah.
There's a mad dash.
We start fresh by going back to the beginning, and we see it from a new perspective. We've seen the destruction of Thundera before. We saw it from space. We saw in Return to Thundera when Lion-O goes through the time capsule and experiences it a little bit from the ground.
God, yeah.
But this is scary. I mean, this is seeing it from the ground, and things are exploding. There's fire everywhere. The lair, which is like, we've never seen the lair on Thundera before, and it's like, it's bigger, it's like more grand, it's just falling to pieces. This is like disaster, and people are running for their lives. And I think it's really effective to like start a new thing by revisiting how it started to then like tell a bigger story. And I think that's what he's doing here. But yeah, he sets up this idea that as they were fleeing, they board their ship, and other Thunderians are trying to get to their ships. And they've been assigned ships.
Yes.
But so clearly they knew this was coming. What's the line from Sound of Music? I knew this was going to happen. I just didn't think it would be so soon. Like, they knew this was coming, but they didn't think it was going to happen so quickly. And so they're rushing to make it to their ships, and their ships are collapsing and exploding. Like, it's scary. I'm glad I didn't see it when I was a little kid. I didn't see it till I was like 10 or 11. I mean, it gave Lion-O nightmares. I think it might have given me nightmares too.
There's the ship that was assigned to us! Hurry!
The ship!
Oh, our poor countrymen!
Look! Another ship ready to take off!
Let's try to reach it. Lynx-O, are you all right?
I think I've been blinded, Mumm-Ra. You and Bengali, run for the ship. Leave me.
No! We will not abandon you, old friend. Get his other side, Mumm-Ra.
No! I'm holding you back.
Don't argue, Lynx-O. We're almost there.
Jaga, look! Survivors! We must wait for them!
Can't we wait, Panthro?
Not if we're to save, we've only moments left.
I understand, Panthro. And take off.
They're leaving!
They have no choice, Mumm-Ra. A second more, and they would have been destroyed by the quake. But we've abandoned them, Jaga. They were our countrymen.
One day, as Lord of the ThunderCats, you will have to make many hard decisions, Lion-O. This is but the first of them.
No! I can't watch! No! I can't watch! No!
Lion-O, wake up! Lion-O!
What? Oh, Snarf. It was that nightmare again.
Thundera?
Yes.
Well, I'll get your breakfast, Lion-O. It'll make you feel better.
How many times must I watch my fellow Thunderians perish while I sped to safety?
They didn't perish, Lion-O.
Jaga! What are you saying? I saw the flames consume them.
It seemed that way, but they survived, and they are here on Third Earth.
They are? Where? How?
Chitara may be able to tell you that, Lion-O, if she uses her gift.
Chitara's gift? Oh yes, her trance visions. But
Chitara, Lion-O. Chitara must tell you.
It's truly nightmare fuel. So when Lion-O says he's haunted by this dream night after night, I think we could all agree that's so true. Exactly. Why wouldn't you? And David, I know you wanted to say something about the lair, right?
Oh, so I just made the observation that when they went to Third Earth, I assumed in my own mind, that Tigra came up with the cat's lair design, the schematics, and the whole design because of the potential area they were going to build. So I did not know that this is actually like a copy visually sort of a copy of the original, on a smaller scale. I just assumed that he said, this is where we're going to do it. This is the best bedrock to use. This is where we're going to do it. And here's my idea. I didn't know. I was giving him a little more credit than I believe he was due. Sorry, Tigra. Not sorry. I've got Bengali now. We had to move on.
Oh my god.
Anyway, I'll just say that.
Well, if you do one thing well, why not keep doing it? I mean, maybe he designed that one too.
Yes, Zack. Maybe he did design that one on Thundera.
I don't know.
Giving that to Jaga? Jaga?
And to your point, I think it was really traumatic, and I think it would be hard for a child, looking back, to process that. And but also from the ashes, no pun intended, like the Phoenix Rising, I think this is where some of the best storyline comes from. Some of the best music we have comes from pain. Some of the best artistry we have is from pain and reflection. So this is also where I feel a lot of the cartoons, not to dig on the cartoons of today, do not have that sort of soul and depth. So
yeah, like a really traumatic thing can fuel interesting stories and like interesting characters.
What I like about it is the continuities, that this is an ongoing thing for Lionel. He is haunted by his past. He is haunted by the visions that he saw, that he was unable to do more, he couldn't do more, and so on. So I think it's amazing how it was written, and again, that continuity. So
he sees what he thinks Lynx-O, Mumm-Ra, and Bengali being destroyed. Literally, he's saying, we can't wait for our countrymen. So that's horrifying, especially as a kid. I can't. I mean,
I think,
man,
it's even worse. Like, he sees these three people that he wants to save. Not only is he told, no, we can't save them, he interprets correctly that we can't save them because we have to save you instead. You are more valuable than they are.
That close-up of his face when it zooms in, bum, bum, bum. Oh, wow.
You know, I've spent a lot of time thinking about this movie. Maybe this wasn't intentional, but I feel like that for Lion-O is like, that's the driving force for the whole rescue mission. Like, he feels personally responsible for this sin. And like, he has to be the one to save them.
I could totally see that. Definitely. Because he really goes full force into this mission. Not that I don't think he would to save it, but you're right. He is like, we must save our countrymen.
Mm-hmm. I think that's a theme through the whole thing. This theme of loyalty, like loyalty taken to such an extreme of like putting others first, putting yourself in danger to save your countrymen, your loved ones.
Yes.
It's on display for the entire movie. And I think for me, it's what makes it feel like a cohesive story. There's this through line of always doing everything you can to save your friends, even if you're putting yourself in danger to do it.
This leads to, I know David's one of his favorite things, because Jaga's gonna come. Lion-O awakens. Snarf says, what's happened, Lion-O? You know, and he says food is the answer, of course. He's gonna give Lion-O breakfast. That's the answer. He leaves him. Lion-O has his inner monologue of this dream, this nightmare that I am haunted with. Mr. Jaga appears, and gentlemen, I wrote, he pulls a sorceress of Castle Grayskull because this is Adora all over again. Oh, by the way, you might have forgotten, but they're not really dead.
The Horde took you as a child, Adora.
That's why I equate it to the Secret of the Sword as well, because it's like, we have to do things like this to make the story work, but I feel horrible, but that we were literally on an island on Third Earth this whole entire time.
Why did he wait this long? Did Jaga just find out? I guess Jaga just found out.
Or he's like, things have been quiet lately. I'm going to give him a new mission. Why not? Let me just add this on.
He's like, I was updating my status on MySpace, and
MySpace, oh god.
And I saw there was some other countrymen over on an island
with some burbles. So he says, it may not have happened like that, Cheetara.
Oh, Cheetara, Lion-O, Cheetara.
I think this is the perfect time to bring this up, and Zack would be the one that knows this, I believe, if it's actually a thing. Did we have, the term Mandela effect?
Yes.
Did David and I both separately have a Mandela effect that Cheetara's vision power, where she spins around, was given the name
Gyno something.
gyno or gyro mastery or something like this.
Gyno, like gynecologist?
Yeah. So, like gyro.
Like it comes from her nether regions.
God.
I am a woman and you hold no secrets from me.
Because we both came separately saying, didn't they have a term for her, the actual act of her spinning and doing this vision thing? And there's nothing on...
There's a term called
gyromancy or something.
Gyromancy. Is like divination, like, fortune telling where you spin around.
Zack, say that he solved the 30-year-old mystery.
But was it said in the episode, one of the episodes? So no.
But
where
maybe
did we come up?
Did you guys have the book of the Ghost Warrior?
I actually bought it years later.
I could see like some author like doing a what's it called when they turn a movie into a book?
Oh, like the adaptation,
the novelization of an episode, like throwing in some words like that. But no, I don't. I've never heard that word until today.
You've heard it here first, bunglers. Here we go. We bungled it better than anybody else. But this is what she does. She spins around. They beg her.
They're like really pressuring her because she doesn't. We know from the Ghost Warrior that she doesn't like to do it. It like very draining. But then they're like, well, Jaga says you have to do it. You have to listen to Jaga, right? She's like, well, if Jaga said it was vital, okay.
A little bit. It's like David Koresh. This is like a cult thing. You have to do what you're told to do.
The cult of Jaga.
The cult of Jaga. Well, he has his own commemorative coins.
Yes, David. Cheetara goes into the vision, and Lynn Lipton, bless her, she is on her game. It's season 2. Oh, they have perished. That scream. She screams. I love this. This is Cheetara. She's living the moment again herself.
She's witnessing it. Yeah.
And then she's like, no, they are saved. The drama. But can we just say that Lynn had a hand in casting another female voice, I believe, right? She actually went to the higher ups and said, hire my friend because I can't do another voice. Do not give me Mumm-Ra, please. Do not give me Mumm-Ra.
And it's great. It's great to have some new voice talent in the room. To like it helps make it feel like a new season. To like Bengali is voiced by Peter Newman, but yeah, Mumm-Ra and Lynx-O are both new voice actors, and it makes it feel fresh and it gives Lynn a break. Poor Lynn.
She's like, okay, I might have to do someone else coming up in the next set of episodes.
You see her, she's got a tea with lemon and honey, and she's sucking on Ricolas, because she's like, my throat, I can't do another voice.
Poor woman. She had the show on her back, let's just face it. Lynn Lipton, of course, we always speak your name.
You must try, Cheetara. We know how tough these trances are on you, Cheetara.
If Jaga said it was vital, then I must try. I am beginning to see Thundera. Yes. I see our countrymen as our ship lifts off. Oh, they have perished. No, they managed to survive. I can hear them clearly now.
Is the ship gone?
Yes.
It was the royal flagship of the ThunderCats.
Oh, then all is not lost. The code of Thundera still lives.
Justice, truth, honor, loyalty.
Yes, and the ThunderCats will carry that code to all whom they may encounter.
Remembered, look. Oh my goodness, remember. It's Thundera. Over there, survivors. We must save them.
An alien spaceship.
I hit it.
Come on, friends, hurry.
This way, Lynx-O.
Thank you. You are our friends indeed.
And who are you?
We are rebels from the planet Well Bear. It's a very tiny planet, and so So we must go to other planets to survive.
What was that?
Your planet, it has been destroyed.
Be grateful you were spared the sight of that, Lynx-O.
The end of Thundera.
Thunderbirds, look, the blast damaged one of the fuel tanks. Is there enough fuel left to reach third Earth?
They did have enough fuel to reach third Earth, but
But what, Chitara?
not enough to make it to the Burble village. They landed in the middle of the ocean on a small deserted island.
Where? Which ocean?
I see no more.
Can I just add one thing that has been on my mind? So is the cat signal, the cat call, the cat signal more like a Batman in Gotham signal? How come these other Thundercats never saw Lion-O call the other Thundercats if this goes deep into the sky for them, wherever they are, to see it?
You're saying not the actual effect, not the boost, because
No,
they're
not
Thundercats.
the turbo boost power up, because they're not Thundercats, they're only countrymen. Why did they not see Lion-O on the beach somewhere close to this mysterious island, use the Sword of Omens to contact the other Thundercats and not see the cat symbol and have some sort of hope saying, maybe we should build a raft?
Let's go that way.
That the ThunderCats, I know, I saw that. I'm not crazy. I'm not looking in a mirror seeing an Egyptian man like Chitara.
Oh my god, they see Mumm-Ra even two flying by. What is that? Oh my god, what is that? I mean, it's a good question, but again, this is the secret of the story.
I know, obviously.
You just have to accept
just
it.
things that pop into my mind. Like, is the cat signals just kind of lower to the ground? Does it kind of know where the Thundercats are and kind of aims itself accordingly?
Or is it just like it's a beam of light in the sky? Like, you can't, if you're over the horizon, you might not see it. And if they really are in the middle of the ocean, like on the other side of the planet, maybe not. But you're right. It is very like, oh, this is a secret that, we've held back, and don't ask questions. That's what the sorceress says. Ask no questions.
Yeah. She's like, for the honor of Grayskull Adore. That's it. I'm done. I'm out. Peace out. Just say it. The other thing I want to say, and then I'm going to shut up, is how come Lion-O, knowing that they had countrymen, why did he never use sight beyond sight? I would have been sight beyond sighting every minute. Let's find them. Sight beyond sight. Tell me where that island is. Sight beyond sight. Am I closer? Sight beyond sight. Am I over here? There was nothing blocking the sight beyond sight.
Only Chitara, though. That's only her gyromance.
Gynomastia.
Only that could do it. We find out that they survived. That actually is a big part we totally glanced over. Yes, Lynx-O is blinded
and he seems to accept it pretty easily. Oh, I've been blinded. That's it. I'm going to keep my eyes closed from now on. It was like,
I think that
there was no blood.
Yeah, when they're fleeing, Lynx-O is blinded by a fiery pillar that like shoots steam up, or I don't know what, into his face, and he's blind now. He wants them to leave him behind. He says, "Run for the ship, leave me," and they don't. They say, "No, we can't leave you behind." And then they lie to him. They say, "We're almost there." They're very clearly not almost there.
I thought I was going crazy. I thought that was maybe like something with the art, but it is a lie then. Okay.
Yeah, they're protecting him, and they're trying to make him feel better. And I think it's like, it goes back to the theme of like doing whatever it takes to save your friends. Like, if they left him behind and run, could they have made it? Maybe, probably not, but maybe. But no, it would be the wrong thing to do. So of course they wouldn't leave him behind.
And Chitara herself sees that, don't you know, lucky enough, two Burbles were noticing that Thundera was being torn apart and exploding, so they were on a rescue mission, which I love this about Burbles. Again, it just shows their heart. They're going into an exploding planet to see if they could save anybody.
There's a deleted line of dialogue that's in the script where the Burbles turn to each other and they say, one of them says, "Do we dare?" And the other says, "Do we have a choice?" And then they say, "Of course not."
Wow. I love that.
That's
a little
beautiful.
moment.
That's beautiful.
They land on Thundera.
And they pop their little head out. Imagine being Lynx-O. Well, Lynx-O's blind at this point, but imagine being Bengali and Mumm-Ra, and you're like, an alien spaceship. What is this? And then this robot bear sticks its head out. You must think you actually did die, and now this is just like a weird hallucination in death.
This is heaven.
Then don't they say friends, hurry or something?
Yes, come aboard, friends.
The burble save them. They do mention that Robert is a very tiny planet, which we had to assume, and they have been saved.
They say it's a very tiny planet, so we have to go to other planets sometimes. But it means two things. It either means that resources are very limited, or their burbles are reproducing. That you've got baby burbles.
Horny little devils. They're rabbits. They're the rabbits of the alien.
The planet's just not big enough.
I almost wonder if they build each other and then they become like...
They just compulsively build more of themselves?
It's sex night, Robert Bell. Booty call.
Oh my god, booty calls. That's what they're going to Thundera for? They got the alert? You always say a blue burble is like a peacock.
What?
David always says a blue.
Rarity.
It's like
I've never seen a blue
rarity
burble
seeing
before.
a blue burble, but I think that was just to make the toy stand out too, because we needed to make those burbles with LJN. We can't have them all be brown.
That's
make
true.
One blue.
Yeah.
Make a blue burble. In the midst of this, we can't forget about Mumm-Ra himself. He's still around,
spying.
The signal is still working very clear to the cat's lair, and he hears the thought of new Thunderians on Third Earth. Unacceptable.
Oh no, not in my neighborhood.
It's over.
He's at the viewing pool.
Tuned in. The Wi-Fi signal is still working strong a year later.
And his initial thing is, I have to destroy them.
Of course.
His plan changes. It gets more a little too elaborate, but at first it's just like, no, they have to go. They can't be allowed to exist.
And what does Mr. Mumm-Ra do? Mamut is a painting on the wall next to the sarcophagus that has been there the whole entire time?
Yeah, I think it's
has he been painting? Has he been painting?
No, maybe Mamut was his dog many thousands of years ago, and so he had a little painting of him. Like you have photos of your departed pets around the house sometimes. That's what this is. But in this case, he can bring him back. This undead dog.
He refers to him as his ravishing beauty.
Yes. Is it ravishing or ravaging?
I don't know. I thought he said...
See, I was going to ask this because the LJN figure... Yeah. Okay, so the original LJN toy line name for Mamut was it Ravage?
Ravage.
So maybe that was a way of... They maybe thought it was going to be Ravage, and they kind of just added that into the script too to...
It is ravaging.
I'm glad he has a friend now.
Oh, me too.
Oh, yeah.
Someone to talk to.
Time.
He needed a pet. This is the funny part. He loves this Mutt, and so he is capable of love.
I need you for this, Mutt. I love you too, Mutt, my ravaging beauty. Here is what you must do.
I think that Mamut is a really wonderful addition, and people who badmouth what Mumm-Ra having a dog that he loves, I don't understand.
Is he the Scrappy Doo? Is he the Scrappy Doo?
Yes, I think some people do think he's sort of... Well, Snarfer is also sort of a Scrappy Doo.
Snarfer, I was going to say they call Scrappy Doo for sure.
Does Mumm-Ra cease to be scary because he has this dog that he interacts with? Maybe a little bit, but I don't know. I find it endearing and a source of entertainment.
It's maybe because we love Mumm-Ra, I guess, for what he is. we see these lovable parts in him. I don't know.
I see you, Mumm-Ra. I see you. No, I really see you.
No, because let's just say I don't know, a murderer will have a dog possibly, and they don't do anything to their animal. So it's possible. It's possible for a villain to have an animal that they care about.
Also, this is one ugly dog. So I'm glad someone adopted him.
That would be Mumm-Ra's dog, wouldn't it? That would be the one he would pick. Look at this one. Oh, So what is the plan that Mumm-Ra comes up with? They're on a beach, right? They're on Survivor 3rd Earth Edition, our Thunderians. So who are the only people that have boats? I don't know. I thought they were all dead, but guess what? Hammerhand and the Berserkers are alive. The last time we had seen him, Bunglers, if you don't remember, is when we had Spitting Image, and Mumm-Ra did his clone machine, and he inserts Hammerhand's spirit from below into the clone. And then that's it. So, Zack, what happened in your mind? What happened to bring Hammerhand back and then Berserkers with these upgraded, LJN toy bodies? But yes, they're selling toys still. But how did this happen? How did he come from the depths below? Ariel?
The ghost...
Davy Jones Walker?
The ghost escapes at the end of Spitting Image and vows revenge, which he seems to forget about because here he's willing to work for Mumm-Ra for some gold.
Do you like their conversation? I wrote this conversation down. Mumm-Ra says there are some cat-like aliens on an island nearby. I need you to get them from me. Hammerhead says, what do I get at? He goes, my goodwill. Sammy says, we hate goodwill. He goes, but we'll do it for gold. Mumm-Ra says, the gold it is then. Chitara? I offered Chitara. I didn't have enough gold for her.
That's the price on 3rd Earth.
In the script, he says, goodwill spoils our digestion.
My God! And we know they eat unicorns from the last time, unfortunately.
Oh, wow. That's terrible.
Mumm-Ra! You are quite right to be frightened of the Mumm-Mutts. Why are you here, Mumm-Ra? I require your services. There are some aliens on an island nearby that Ma monitors the location. Cat-like creatures. You will deliver them to me. And what do I get in return? My goodwill. We hate goodwill. Amy Buckos. We work for gold, Mumm-Ra. Gold! Gold! Very well. You will receive gold. That's better. What's the location of this here island?
I don't know that there is a rational explanation for how they come back. I don't really care because I think this incarnation is better. I think the original Berserkers are kind of just all nameless pirates, and I really enjoy. And maybe it is the influence of toy makers trying to distinguish different characters. But I really enjoy each of these 4 Berserkers, and I think it's a shame they didn't get more episodes down the line.
More episodes by themselves as the standalone villain for that episode. It's Cruncher, Ram Bam, and Top Spinner. Beautiful toys.
I always have to catch myself with Ram Bam to not say Ram Man.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I actually looked too, Zack, just now. I was going to say Ram Man, and I looked and saw Ram Bam, or Bam Bam.
And so when they assault the beach, we get to see each of their unique abilities, which is fun. So we see the Top Spinner can, his whole torso just spins in a circle, and the Thunderians are firing at him from within their fort. Mumm-Ra has this Gatling gun firing rocks, and he just spins around and repels them all.
Gyromancy.
I wonder what his visions are of. Unicorns.
Oh my God. You mentioned this is great, the fort that they build on this island. So have the ThunderCats, it's been like a year time for us. I wonder if it's been over a year or more that they've had time to build this fortress, build their own huts. They have their own defense system, which was fantastic. They were ready for anything at this point.
They say in the script, they say they've been there for years. And Mumm-Ra also says in the episode, she says to Lynx-O, she says, it's when Mammut flies overhead, they're like, what is that creature? And they ask Lynx-O, she says, all your senses have become razor sharp since you lost your sight. So he's clearly had time to develop his other senses.
Yes.
I think they've been there for a while. No explanation of how they haven't aged. Maybe it's like an interstellar time dilation situation.
Maybe the Burbles have better technology than we think. It's not just all candy fruit and fur and having babies.
Having babies. Burbles babies. Who knew this was an epidemic? In the meantime, Panthro has been busy because we get the Thunderclaw and the Hovercat. Yes. 2 more devices, 2 more toys, okay. But they needed this. They need flying contraptions. Honestly.
Yeah, other than the feliner, yeah. They needed small aircraft because the Mutants have small aircraft, so why don't the Thundercats?
That is so true.
Not to cut you off, why didn't Panther update the Thunder Tank? Or get a new
perfect.
One?
It works perfectly, you'll see.
No, there's always room for improvement. I told you he should have taken that alien ship, scrapped the guns and the
metal
and the shield device and the shielding device that encapsulated Cat's lair all way back when, and used that technology.
The shield device would have been fantastic, but you'll see that later on the Thunder Tank could be on fire and it still works. So he made
another land vehicle, not just a flying vehicle, another land vehicle.
See, I would make everything flying because I feel like there's so much more opportunities in the air, but I could be wrong. Around this time, we mentioned there was attack by the Berserkers. The Berserkers get to the island. They put up a grand fight, the Thunderians and the Burbles. They try their darndest, and they get kidnapped by the Berserkers.
Yeah, the Berserkers chain them up and turn them into slaves, all rowing the ship on one side. Only one side. So they're just going to be traveling, they're just going to be spinning in circles.
I noticed the same thing all on one side. I know it's for our visuals, but that's so true. It's like, okay, Berserkers.
I don't even think they need them to row. I think it's just for their amusement.
They have the jets in the back.
And we hear that those burbles know their way around a cook pot, all right. I love that line. The sport burbles and snarfs. You will be the chef. That's all you got.
How do you feel, Lynx-O?
I'm all right, Mumm-Ra. Perhaps a sip of water.
Smell that! Smell that!
Oh, them burbles know their way around a cook pot, all right.
You, how about some water?
Sure, matey. Maybe after we finishes our delicious dinner. Come on, mates.
Bengali!
You look like a Thunderian.
That a ThunderCat.
Shh! Yes, I am a ThunderCat. I'll have you free in a moment.
I thought I heard something.
You'll wish you hadn't, Hammerhand.
So, it's the young lord himself. Get him!
And they park the ship in Plundar Cove, which I love. It sounds like the water park at it's like the Mutant water park.
Welcome to Plundar Cove. We have a new restaurant coming out soon. Unicorns cooked by burbles. Lion-O gets to the ship.
Lion-O goes alone. This is where my cockamamie theory of he feels like he has to rescue them on his own comes into play. Snarf follows him, and Snarf says, "You better wait for the others. Don't do this alone." But Lion-O doesn't listen. He does it alone. And I don't know what his plan is. He thinks he's going to secretly rescue 3 people and also fight off 4 pirates. And one of the people is blind, and he's going to swim them ashore somehow. I don't know. It's not a good...
Climb on my back, Lynx-O. I will take you from here.
It's a great scene when he's fighting the Berserkers. I love that scene. I love the music in that scene. But I do think that Lion-O kind of screwed up here.
For a little while, he's doing pretty good. He trips... Is it Cruncher? No.
He trips Top Spinner.
Top Spinner. The Berserkers go berserk. And this scene, did you notice when Mumm-Ra looks up and goes, Bengali? But it's about Lion-O. She's like, what is this creature in front of us?
This
my
specimen.
God, I've been on this island too long with these two.
You're like my brother, Bengali. I told you already. This isn't Blue Lagoon.
God, Blue Lagoon. Oh my God. So what ends up happening is Lion-O goes, yes, I am a ThunderCat. Is it Lynx-O? I want to say he says.
Bengali says, you look like a Thunderian. And Lynx-O somehow says that and more, a ThunderCat. How in the world he can sense this? Who knows?
His ears were going off. He got a telepathic beam. Lion-O gets taken and thrown into the ocean. Right?
Yeah, he has to surrender. Hammerhand threatens their lives, and Lion-O says, well, I guess I'll come back later. And he dives into the water.
Guess I'm coming back.
One thing that happens during the battle is the Bengali, he's chained up. He is straining against those chains because he wants to help Lion-O. That's, I think, my favorite moment in the whole episode, actually, because it's like this perfect moment of like great animation, awesome music, and this theme again of like desperately wanting to help your friends.
Helping each other. Yes, they're compelled to help people. It's like in their nature.
Didn't you feel though, so Lion-O goes down to the rowing area, the one-sided rowing area. At that point, shouldn't he have just used the sword and broke their chains immediately? And then couldn't he have bursted the Berserkers back by using the Sword of Omen? It seems like he didn't rely on the Sword of Omen's mystical power that does everything, creates shields, barriers, takes down the Mumm-Ra's pyramid. Everything else, he just kind of was like, when they were coming at me, I would have immediately shot them, and then I would have called the ThunderCats. I guess, again, they have to set it up where he needs the storyline goes. I wouldn't have even given them an opportunity to even say hello. I would have broke the chains immediately with the sword.
The sword could have done that, true, but...
And moved on before.
Yeah, he engages the Berserkers right away without... You're right, he could have taken the time to free them. What he should have done was call the others immediately. But...
Yeah, Snarf's on shore going, oh my god! I can't
I'm going to tell you something. Snarf has, again, stepped up his game. He's not afraid of anything. And this whole
movie. Oh my god, she went on wires, everything.
He is fearless, so shout out to Snarf. I guess because now we have coming soon.
Snarfer,
Snarfer, who's going to be the comic.
We get the famous, to me this is a famous line. Lion-O's in the water, and they go berserk. I don't know how they heat up an ocean. It's with just their flames. It's
just that general area.
But it's so hot that Snarf can't even get in. He goes, am I to be boiled alive? Or something like that. I love that line.
It's a cliffhanger if there ever was one. And then he sinks down to colder depths where he'll it's either be boiled alive or drowned. That he has no other choice.
He's going down.
I want to say real quick, first episode in a long time, maybe first episode at all, where Lion-O doesn't summon the others. There's no cat signal in the whole episode. No ThunderCats Ho.
Yes.
No nothing.
Which it should have been, like we said. Would have solved a few issues.
Will I be boiled alive?
In the next episode of ThunderCats, Mumm-Ra enlists the aid of the terrifying Rataro.
So, my prisoner again, eh? Welcome back, Airball.
And the evil Captain Shiner. The Thunderians! Stop them! And Lion-O faces a new mutant weapon, the awesome Fist Pounder.
Snarf is having a heart attack on the shore. He has not surfaced yet, Lion-O. And the Mighty Panthro, I've seen him before, the Mighty Panthro.
I love that.
Thundera.
I love that the ThunderCats are like celebrities.
Yes, that's exactly what it's like. They have this reverence for them. He's flying along, and somehow he wants to chase after the Berserker ship, but Snarf screaming on the shore is loud enough to Panthro to hear, and he's like, Lion-O, Lion-O, Lion-O. Lion-O's down, and with the Thunderclaw, I don't know how, beautifully picks him up like a crane from a crane machine.
Creates like a cyclone effect.
Like a cyclone effect. But then they just gently grab him in the perfect position, and Lion-O is raised up from the ocean.
The magic of animation.
Panthro says, I want to say it's Panthro, Mumm-Ra's foul decaying hand has to be in this.
I see Mumm-Ra's foul decaying hand. And
Mummy!
I love that. It's not just Mumm-Ra. I think Mumm-Ra might be involved. I see his foul decaying hand. I'm gonna be as dramatic and Shakespearean as I can be.
So does Mumm-Ra smell, do you think, every time they come across him? Honestly, do you think he smells like of rotting flesh? Because that would just add another horrific part of his whole thing.
I think he's dried out. He's like beef jerky. He's
dried out.
Yeah, mummies smell like they smell like weird herbs and spices. Like
I hope it smells like cinnamon.
Chitara's like, is there a KFC over here someplace?
The plot is that the Berserkers are to deliver the Thunderians to the mutants, and we find out that they both are talking crap about the others.
It's great.
Wrote that down. Monkeyan says he hates dealing with the Berserkers, and the Berserkers are all at the same time saying they hate dealing with the mutants because they're revolting.
And then they trade more until Cruncher calls them mangy beasts, and then Jackalman calls them scroungy water rat.
I love that.
Just great insults both ways.
Berserkers! I hate dealing with that bunch.
They're disgusting.
Yeah.
Mutants!
I hate doing business with that crew. They're revolting.
Here in the prisoner's slide. You have the gold Mumm-Ra promised us, of course.
Gold? Mumm-Ra promised you gold?
I could easily lose control and go berserk if you try to trick me, a reptile.
Maybe you mean this gold, Hammerhand? Yes?
Trying to pull a fast one on us, eh? You mangy beasts. Stay back, you scroungy water rats.
Mumm-Ra, while they're squabbling.
It's our chance to escape.
I will follow your movements. Do not worry about me.
Let's do it then.
And it just shows you again that villains will never get along. They'll never work with each other. Because if they united into the Council of Doom or whatever that is in Super Friends.
The Legion of Doom?
Legion of Doom. They could have done something. Why did I write gold? What gold? Was gold brought up?
Oh, you're talking about Captain. Yeah, you're talking about.
Oh, that's right. He's like, where's the gold that Mumm-Ra promised us? Gold.
What gold? And then he grabs Slythe by the suspenders and, threatens him. And he says, "Oh, maybe you mean this gold."
Oh, you mean this one right here?
It was the female ThunderCat. She came and took all our gold. She was dressed as a Tabbit, and she took all our gold.
She was wearing a Tabbit Snuggie.
Snuggie, the Angela Snuggie. I would have loved that. They are taken from the mutants to Mumm-Ra. Mumm-Ra's very dramatic as always. Did you see this shot, though, where he walks between Lynx-O and Mumm-Ra while he's talking? Like, he couldn't just, walk around them. He's like, I am breaking through them. You will make way for Mumm-Ra.
He walks right into the camera. He doesn't even get out of the,
Here I am. You've been waiting for me. Yeah. This line I thought was very important, gentlemen. Lynx-O says, "We are not ThunderCats. We are Thunderians. We do not have the honor of being ThunderCats." Oh, but don't you? Just wait.
And then Mumm-Ra's like, "You're just commoners. But I don't think the ThunderCats want to see you suffer." Oh, well.
He's terrible, Mumm-Ra. You're merely commoners.
You're beneath me.
So, it seems there were more ThunderCats on Third Earth than we thought.
We are not ThunderCats.
We are from Thundera, yes, but we do not have the honor of being ThunderCats.
Honor.
Shh. So, you are merely Thunderian commoners. Even so, I don't think the noble ThunderCats would suffer the thought of your being in Mumm-Ra's clutches.
Will you keep these Thunderians here, Mumm-Ra?
No. They will be taken to Fire Rock Mountain.
Whatever your plan, it will fail, Mumm-Ra.
Oh, yes. Your precious ThunderCats will come to rescue you, but they will have to cross the Fire Rocks to accomplish their mission. These Fire Rocks are known to the ThunderCats as Thundranium. The effect of Thundranium on the ThunderCats is known to you. Then you know it will make them as weak as kittens.
ThunderKittens!
「
Yes!
this is a new location that we will be hearing a lot about. Fire Rock Mountain.
Yeah, so now we're getting a taste of Mumm-Ra's plan. It's like, I'm not going to destroy them, I'm going to use them as bait, and the place where I'm going to take them is itself dangerous for the ThunderCats when they come to rescue them. But that's not complicated enough for Mumm-Ra. He needs to make it more complicated, so...
Of course! He has to...
I think he's trying to cover his tracks, so it's like, he's going to hire different people to take them for different parts of the journey so that it's like harder for the ThunderCats to figure out what's going on.
And everybody else too, the villains themselves. Like, ooh.
You know, we get to have more characters along the way, which is fun, but it's maybe a little overly complicated. I don't know. But Mumm-Ra is paranoid. I get it.
That's so funny you say that because I wrote, why do you have to make things so complicated? Avril Lavigne.
It's so true. You're right. It's so convoluted, this plan. He's just like, and then I'm gonna call up Hachiman. You know what? This is what this needs.
I'm gonna have the Berserkers take them to the mutants. The mutants will bring them to me. Captain Shiner will take them there. Then the mutants will meet them there. They're not going to fly with Shiner. They're going to go separately. Yeah, it's just it's so complicated.
To meet up with the mutants again at Fire Rock Mountain.
Yeah.
And then he's putting out a lot of money too. Mumm-Ra is putting out a lot of money.
Money's flowing.
Shina's like, this is going to be expensive. I don't know what part of the thing. He's got a calculator out. And he's typing. He's figuring out. He's calculating how much money this is going to cost. He's like, room, board. I had to stay in Airbnb. You know,
driving out to this pyramid. So there's a little scene where Snarf is left. He says he's going to make his way to Cat's lair. And Panthro and Lion-O are going to continue on, right?
Yeah, they're going to go. They suspect Mumm-Ra, so they're going to go to the pyramid. That's the plan for like 30 seconds. The plan is, let's go to the pyramid. Mind you, they were hanging out on the beach all night while Lion-O was like recuperating from his
ordeal. His drowning.
Being cooked alive.
His hot tub experience.
Ooh, it was a hot tub. And don't you know, at the same time, our dear friends who we never knew that were real, I guess they hang out all the time. Vulture Man is in the Rat Star with Rataro. Okay, all right. And they see Snarf again. Poor Snarf. And he's instantly sucked up in their tractor beam thing. And Rataro welcomes him back.
Which is a flub, which is a mistake.
I thought he took Snarfer, right?
Yeah. This is Leonard Starr, I think, trying to incorporate characters that he didn't write, and he just messes it up. But I'll forgive him because I think Snarf's a very impressive prisoner aboard the Rat Star.
Oh my God, that's very true. He's like, once you've seen one Snarf, you've seen them all.
So I have one of my most favorite lines of this whole thing in this one episode. What's one area? Vulture Man. So they capture Snarf, and Lion-O and Panther go to rescue him. And Vulture Man says, "I believe it's the King of Beasts with the little sword." Does he say with the little sword? It's the King of Beasts,
and his little sword.
He's referring to Lion-O. It's the Lion King. Like the King of Beasts with his little sword.
I hated this rat's nest last time, Rataro. I like it even less this time.
Where were you rushing to, you furry fool?
None of your bird-nosy business.
Who are you calling?
No, we may have use for this silly creature later. Mumm-Ra will tell us what's going on.
Rataro! It's the King of Beasts with his little sword!
Lion-O? Sword, eh? Let's try a little magnetic attraction.
Well, Vulture Man is... Vulture. Oh, Vulture. He's
the emancipation of Vulture.
I was going to say emaciated again. They hog tie Snarf. Is that the term?
I think so.
Not at this point, but later on they put duct tape on his mouth, poor thing. So they have this beam. Lion-O goes to rescue Snarf. The Sword of Omens is magnetized.
Yeah, it's stuck to the bottom of the Rat Star.
How does Snarf know? He says, these wires look right. This is the magnifier wires that are just hanging out of this control panel that's open. And he chews them. Which for anyone who's ever had a pet rabbit, you would be horrified if they chewed the wires because there could be electricity. And poor Snarf got electrocuted.
Yeah, he risks his life to save Lion-O. And in the script it says he lights up like a light bulb, which is true.
Oh God. That really had to have taken some life off of Snarf a little. another year.
And then he sees Lion-O fall, presumably to his death. Like, Rotaro picks him up and holds him so that he can watch the telescreen as Lion-O plummets into the snow.
And he's like, what have I done?
What have I done?
Poor Snarf. But honestly, I think you gave him it worked out in the end, Snarf.
Yeah.
It works out in the end. So around this time, I want to say that Captain Shiner, we brought him up. He is contacted by Mumm-Ra, and he says, David, this isn't your favorite line? You were always expensive, Captain
I have that
Shiner.
too. I have that too.
It's going to be
expensive.
Yeah.
You're always expensive.
And he says, I'm a mercenary. What can I say? Money.
What is this chore you have for us, Mumm-Ra?
These prisoners are to be transported to Fire Rock Mountain.
Fire Rock Mountain? Ooh, treacherous updrafts in those canyons, Mumm-Ra. It will be expensive.
You are always expensive, Captain Shiner.
What can I tell you? I'm a mercenary.
Take them to Fire Rock Mountain.
I think Captain Shiner's guest, and this is the last time we see him is in this movie, but I think his guest appearance here, I think it's really good. It's better than his first appearance.
1,000%.
Oh, yes.
I want to say also Rotaro's last appearance
yes.
in these movies as well. So this is a bang, both going out with a bang. So Captain Shiner's ship, he seems to have, I want to say 3 boards, I don't know, team crew members. It seems like there's like about 3 or 4 of them. I wrote, why do they all have price scanner guns? If you look at those guns that they have, they are price scanners. You know those ones they give you sometimes at Stop and Shop too if you want to scan.
Or at Home Depot, yeah.
Home Depot, that is exactly what they have. But
well, they are expensive. They're all about money. They're mercenaries.
Mercenaries. Our Thunderians, they put up a good fight. They end up at some point taking over the ship for a moment, really quickly, and they tell him, "You better turn this ship around." And he keeps saying, "I am."
You are still heading for those horrible peaks. Turn now.
What happened to the telescreen?
Electrical failure.
Turn, or
We're turning now. Relax.
Bengali, the ship is not turning. It's descending.
what are you up to, Shiner?
Nothing, my friend. I assure you. It's your imagination. We're almost around.
180 complete. Heading south.
Wow! Those views! We must be near Fire Rock Mountain. Below.
Thundranium views. Weak.
Yes, my brave Thunderian.
Where to now, Captain Shiner?
We wait for the mutants. They're supposed to take the prisoners the rest of the way.
He does not care. He's like, he wiggles his monocle to like signal to the pilot, like, don't do what I'm saying, do the opposite. And then he stands up, and because they tell him to turn the ship around. When he's standing up, he pushes a button on his control panel to turn the screens off. And Bengali says, what happened? Or Mumm-Ra says, what happened to the telescreen? And he says, electrical failure. He just like makes things up.
Yes!
He doesn't feel threatened at all. He's just so brazen. It's great.
After that screen went off, I would have been like, oh no. And I would have just shot it. I would have shot
Well, Lynx-O says the ship has not turned around.
It's the ship.
He can sense it.
It's descending instead, yeah.
That's when you say no. There's something going on, but don't you know? They open the
That's
windows.
when you bring out the scanners and start scanning, because that's what I would have been doing. But that's just
start scanning and pay later. So they let in the fumes of the Thundraniums, which are also called fire rocks, and the smoke is actually red too. Ooh.
Yeah, and everyone just falls unconscious.
They were doing so good. They were doing so good.
They put up such a good fight the entire time.
Is Pumaira's power, or quote unquote her skill, leaping? She jumps really high.
Yeah, I think like agility is like her thing, right? Like leaping around, jumping. She also runs pretty fast, not as fast as Chitara, but she's like Chitara light.
Oh, Chitara will Nancy Carrigan, whatever is a Nancy Carrigan?
Nancy Carrigan her? Or Tanya Harding?
Tanya Harding her?
She'll do a showgirls. Oh, my necklace broke and the beads fell down the stairs and so did Chitara.
Oh my god. Also, they list her, Zach, correct me if I'm wrong, they always call her the Thunderian healer. Is this ever, though, brought up in anything in the future?
Yep, in one episode, which is, you'll get to a few months from now, she heals Lynx-O. That one scene is the source of that.
That was her resume? She's like, I am a healer now.
She's half white lighter.
She says, I've treated him with all the healing skills I learned on Thundera. But that's it. And somehow that was enough for the fan community to decide that she's a healer. That's her thing.
I thought I was going crazy. Thank you so much for explaining that. Because I kept saying, healer? But Thundera is medicine woman. This new spinoff with Mumm-Ra. I wrote Wily Cat says teamwork, remember? Is there some kind of scene where they're...
Yep, we go back to the lair, and Lion-O sends Panthro back to the lair. God knows why. But now they're all back at the lair. And they don't know where Lion-O is, and they don't know where Snarf is. And Panthro's blaming himself for leaving. And Tiger tries to reassure him that, like, Lion-O's not stupid. He knows the value of teamwork. And I don't think he does. I think he wants to do this whole thing by himself.
I think Chitara says he...
Impetuous, yes. Stupid, no.
Yeah.
Well, there's the thing, but that goes back to exactly what Zack had said earlier about how this personal connection he has to these countrymen because of what he saw, and they were left to perish on Thundera. So maybe he's more drawn to he's in autopilot mode to try to save them. So he's not thinking ahead because of that fact, because he can't lose them again. He can't lose them again.
And I suppose that is sort of impetuousness, right? That's what Chitara says, that he's impetuous.
But what about the trials? Didn't he learn
anything?
Trial?
Come on.
After all of that?
He learned that Chitara can only maintain her top speed for a few minutes, like we all did, Ryan.
That's the one thing we learned.
Wily Cat wants to... Is it Wily Cat wants to go out?
They all agree to go out and search for him in different directions. Now that they have enough vehicles to do it, they're all going to go a different way. But the kittens are going to stay behind. And Wily Cat starts to protest. But Wily Cat reminds him that part of being on the team is, someone has to guard the lair. You're still doing your part. I think that's teamwork, some character
remember,
growth.
Teamwork.
Yep.
Where I would like to stay, though, at the lair, honestly. I'll do it. I'll clean the lair. Let me clean the lair. So... Guess who else we meet in this episode?
Snowman.
And he's no longer referred to, a.k.a. Snow Knight, like the last time we saw him. Thankfully, he is back to being Snowman of Hook Mountain. And our old friend does not want junk in his kingdom, which I don't blame him. He said there's junk falling down, and people are just leaving junk around. And then he comes across color-changing Lion-O.
Yeah, Snow Meow starts pawing at the snow, and it reminds me of a cat using the litter box. He's like, what is this? I didn't bury my poop here. What is this? And yeah, he digs up a frozen Lion-O.
And he says, Lord Lion-O is the wrong color.
Not supposed to be blue.
Snow Meow, wait! Bring it here. This belongs to Lord Lion-O, the famous Sword of Omens. What is it, Snow Meow? What have you found? Lord Lion-O, and he is wrong color. Not supposed to be blue. Lion-O, mustn't give up. You hear me?
Snowman?
Yes, it is your wonderful friend, Snowman. Here, drink this.
And he's so endearing because he puts like I want to say like it's like the Star Wars. He puts the tom-tom on top of him, a cloth, some kind of fur on top of him to warm him up. And he says, yes, it is your wonderful friend, Snowman. He really knows he loves himself. Jackalman needs a little bit of Snowman's help, you know. This is also the first appearance of the Mutants Fist Pounder.
Yeah, the Fist Pounder, they do a really good job of like keeping it a secret, of teasing it. Like Snowman says there are unknown vehicles moving in the valleys below, and then we see some shots where you can just see the fist of the Fist Pounder in the background, but you don't know what it is when the mutants are talking to each other. And then it gets revealed, and it's this like big war machine.
And it's honestly, it's perfect because they never had a tank per se, equivalent to a Thunder tank.
Yeah, they had that Mew tank that Rotaro brought with him with the Rat Star, but it wasn't very impressive, right? It's like they didn't make a toy out of the Mew tank.
No, but can I tell you, the Fist Pounder holds such a place in my heart because both Zack and I were on the tail end of ThunderCats, you know, our age group, and the remnants that were left in the stores were certain things. I have a vivid memory of, I want to say this is like kindergarten, like first grade, around that time, Mom picking me up from the school. She points to the back, and there was a Mutant Fist Pounder, brand new in the box, and another Lion-O and another Mumm-Ra. I'm thinking it was closeout sales at these stores from what was left. I already had a Lion-O and Mumm-Ra from David, but they were destroyed. So this was a brand new Lion-O, a brand new Mumm-Ra, and the Fist Pounder. And I can still remember that this many years later. So the Fist Pounder was I opened it, I had it, it was mine, and I just loved that. Like, it was so new, and it was like, so that when I see the Fist Pounder, I'm like, oh my god. Had I only known that in the box all these years later would have been amazing to have, but...
I have a similar association. I also, for me, it was in kindergarten, so probably right around the same time, like 1990. Everything was, I remember there were a lot of like Lunataks and a lot of like late stage Series 3 toys, right? And yeah, I think I got it for Christmas in like 1990.
We have this battle, right? I want to say he's driving the newest vehicle, the Fist Pounder. And how do we end with this? It's a close-up of Lion-O in like a very Japanese styled anime.
Yeah.
Freeze frame.
We get the first of these freeze frames that are, and there's going to be a few of them coming up where like in cliffhanger moments. Yeah, the episode ends with Lion-O like, shielding himself from the Fist Pounder, leaning back with, with a look on his face like, what the hell is this thing? And it's a really good cliffhanger. I really enjoy it.
In the next episode of ThunderCats, Lion-O battles with an avalanche of snow on Hook Mountain, while Panthro revs up the Thunder Tank for the fight of its life with the awesome Fist Pounder. Terrible odds for the ThunderCats to overcome in the next episode.
Your sword is gone, Lion-O, buried under the avalanche. Who knows where?
The fist comes down and it breaks Snowman's lance, and Snow Meow has to like jump out of the way. Very dramatic. Snow flying everywhere.
The Fist Pounder has a spike at the bottom of it, unlike the toy version. The Fist Pounder has a spike that will pulverize you. So when we come to the Fist Pounder, let's see, it causes an avalanche, like Zack was saying, everyone goes flying, and then they kind of like they it's a calm time now because the Snowman is able to find Lion-O encased in ice.
Yeah, the avalanche is really, this whole part of the movie, which is when it's in the 5 parts, this is part 3, has some of the best animation of all.
And action too.
Yeah,
really
like
great action.
It's a really great episode. It's sort of like, in my mind, it's like the movie sort of peaks here. It's like the crown jewel in the 5 parts. And yeah, there's this avalanche, and it's animated beautifully. There's a little moment where Lion-O drops to all fours to try to run faster like a cat, but the snow still overtakes him.
You were taken, Dave. I could see David was taken.
I wasn't taken. I just noticed it. I actually, one of my takeaway was the fact that how devastated Snowman was because he thought he lost Lion-O forever, and he was going to.
He's got a good heart.
He was heartbroken.
Yeah.
That his friend is dead, in case they can't find him, and then you see Snow Meow is digging again.
Yeah, but Lion-O kind of just goes, he's like, you don't know where the sword is? Thank you, I'm going to die now. Like, that's how he says it. He's like, thank you for trying. I will just lay here and die in the snow until then.
He's very defeated. You're right. He's like, I'm encased in ice. What can I do? It's weird. You're right. It's a little out of character for him to have lost hope like that.
Lion-O! Snowman, my sword.
Your sword is gone, Lion-O. Buried under the avalanche. Who knows where?
Then all is lost. Thank you for trying.
No. We will get you out somehow.
I guess, like, his senses kick in because he's like, wait a minute, can I call this thing?
Yes, you can. We've been screaming at you for months. You can call the sword.
Honestly. Yes, every time. Call the sword. And what a dramatic entrance the sword makes.
This is a really classic scene where, like, you see his outstretched hand, like, reaching for it, and the sword breaks out of the ice, and there's this, like, pillar of fire, and it comes flying, and then the ice that Lion-O surrounded in just, like, shatters and flies at the camera.
The Snowman with his, oh, that's a pretty good sword you got there. I
love him.
Nice sword. Nice sword.
You got a sword there. I love him. He's just so whatever. He should have pulled out that damn egg again and told him, there's another curse. A curse of seeing this lovely picture. That's the curse. I also wrote there is gorgeous sky colors at Hook Mountain.
This whole scene is like, it's magic hour, right? It's like the time of day when you want to film everything, when it's this gorgeous warm light, and a lot of the scenes have these really hard shadows. It's beautiful. And then he calls the others for the first time, I think.
Yes, thankfully.
And it's animated fresh, like they've redrawn it, and it's like it looks better than ever in this beautiful golden light.
I wonder if we get that shot again.
No,
used.
I think it's the first and only time they redraw the ThunderCats Ho.
It would have been great to reuse it. I mean, not maybe save it up, but at least use it again, because it was fantastic. So they are so excited because this is the first sign of Lion-O since everything went down.
Yes.
So he's been drowned. He's now freezing. He's gone through a lot of things. He needs to have probably boost his immune system, I'm saying, in the upcoming days after this ordeal.
Poor Snarf doesn't get to see the signal, though. So Snarf still thinks he's dead, probably.
Poor Snarf. That is horrible. So we get the battle part 2 of Hook Mountain. The mutants come back because Snowman's even like, you're calling your friends? Everything's okay now. And he's like, only for the moment. And he was right, only for the moment. Because instantly, they're back.
Right, Slide's Sky Cutter, which Lion-O had, in the previous episode, Lion-O had, cut a bunch of icicles that had pierced the wings, and the Sky Cutter went down. Mm-hmm. It's back now. Slides fixed it up, or maybe he had a spare one, some spare wings. But yeah, he's back. The fist pounder is back. Lion-O plays possum to try to get Slides to land, which is kind of a dirty trick, kind of un-ThunderCat-like.
He's had enough.
Yeah, and he gets into the Sky Cutter and throws Slide out of the down to the ground, and is now piloting the Sky Cutter on his own. But he does look back to make sure Slide is okay.
Thankfully, thank you, Lion-O. And
if he wasn't, what was he going to do about it if he plummeted to his death?
We know you would have just been
done. Bye.
Oh, you didn't make it down? Oh.
Oh, well. Oh, sorry.
Is this when... Oh, yes, because you said Tigra and Chitaro, David. So, yes, so he says Tigra believes it's still a mutant, and he's after Lion-O. He's hot on his tail, and he says, oh, Tigra's shooting is the best ever. He is going to get me, because he thinks I am Slide still.
It's some really fun dialogue where it's like Tigra is talking to himself, like, why is Slide not attacking me? Why is he, flying like this?
Taking evasive maneuvers or whatever.
Yeah, evasive maneuvers, yeah. And Lion-O is like, well, Tigra is just too good at this. There's no way I can outsmart or outmaneuver him. So then he hoes again for the second time in the episode.
While driving,
while flying the Sky Cutter. Yeah. So we get the ThunderCat signal again, and it hits Tigra in the face. It flies backwards, and Tigra flies right into it.
He's like, in case you didn't know, Tigra, it's me. Yeah. And he's like, oh, it's Lion-O. Oh, it's Lion-O. Okay.
Don't they have communicators on all of their weapons?
There was.
Just saying. But you ain't heard that from me because I ain't one to gossip. Hello.
Yeah, but they forget that all the time.
I'm right here. Hey guys,
It's me.
I'm the one in the sky cutter. It's me.
Maybe they couldn't put it on the Sword of Omens though, because it's one
Bear
piece.
claw, bear shield.
The bear
Bear
claw.
claws.
It's like a pot. It's like a
donut.
pastry.
It's a
Ooh, we can
donut.
sell-
It's a pastry.
Unfortunately, Retaro shows up too, which doesn't help things.
Vulture Man sees the Fist Pounder and the Thunder Tank facing off, and for a moment he's like super proud. He's like, "It's the Fist Pounder! It's like my new thing that I made. Isn't it awesome?"
Vulture Man, look! There's a battle raging below between the Thunder Tank and one of the mutant war wagons. It's the Fist Pounder! The Thundercat doesn't have a chance! Looks like a standoff to me!
And then he freaks out because he thinks the Thunder Tank is gonna, plow it from the side, and he has this, he just loses his mind because his new toy is about to get destroyed. Like everything he makes gets destroyed.
Superpower potion gone. One episode. Everything.
First of all, I want to say that Thunder Tank versus Fist Pounder, I can only imagine how many kids were reenacting that in their bedrooms with the toys. It's such a cool matchup.
The size of the Fist Pounder, it's so ominous because it even has that towery, we could sit a mutant in the top, just like the show. It actually looks just like the toy. So yeah, it's an epic battle. But unfortunately, what is it? The cannon?
The very cannon?
Very cannon, thank you. It strikes the Thunder Tank, and Panther ends up getting trapped underneath it.
Yeah, and from Snarf's again, Snarf sees all this happen. Now he thinks Panther is dead too. Snarf is just, witnessed. It's what Lionel went through as seeing the Thunderians die as a kid. Now Snarf is seeing his friends die on screen.
The trauma of everyone in this epised. Everyone needs therapy after watching this.
I think especially Snarf. I think Snarf needs the most therapy.
Then I want to say that Slythe and Jackalman get to Fire Rock Mountain, and they kind of do the trade-off between Captain Shiner, and he drops them off, another trade-off to the mutants. Here's your Thunderians.
When they travel together on the Nosediver, Slythe says that it's humiliating, and then when they get there,
oh yeah,
Captain Shiner makes this kind of gay joke. This calls them a pretty pair because of how they're sitting on the Nosediver.
Say that.
And then Slythe attacks him. It's this uncomfortable homophobic thing that I don't know.
So, finally, the mighty mutant warriors. And a pretty pair you make, I must say. Amen? Now, Slythe, we're comrades in arms, for the moment, anyway. Taking Mumm-Ra's prisoners to their cells is the first order of business.
So strange.
Well, you named the thing a fist pounder too, so hey.
You're like, yeah, that's true. Who's coming up with fist pounders over here? That is really strange because I love, though, it's the Thundercats just grab onto the other one and just hold the other one's waist and fly on things together. They don't care.
As they should.
That's why the Thundercats are unjudgmental, unless you're Snarf.
Yeah, but I want to like Captain Shiner. I enjoy him. So
I know that is it's such a stupid thing to add too.
Yeah, maybe we're reading too much into it.
So the trade-off.
Yep, you get Slythe he was mumble cursing to himself like Joe Pesci in Home Alone.
Oh my god!
And yeah, then they take them into Fire Rock Mountain, and this is my favorite scene. It's my favorite Mumm-Ra scene in the whole show, I think.
Okay, I love this.
Slythe and Jackalman are leading them into Fire Rock Mountain, and the farther they get from the Thundranium, the less weak they're feeling once they're inside the prison. And Lynx-O trips because he can't see where he's going, and Slythe starts to manhandle him and push him, and Mumm-Ra says Lynx-O cannot see, and Slythe says, well, that makes him easier to handle, and she says, handle this, reptilian, and she drop kicks him. Both of them, I think Slythe and Jackalman both go flying. She comes to Lynx-O's defense in a big way, and it's amazing. I remember cheering as a kid when I saw it.
Yeah, it's that thing when someone's bullying somebody else and someone will stand up. Yes, you all need friends like Mumm-Ra and Bengali, and like these are the friendship, the respect for each other is just amazing. That's why we love these ThunderCats, I think.
I'm losing patience with you!
Stop that!
Lynx-O cannot see.
All the better. Makes him easier to handle, yes?
Handle this, reptilian.
Run! There must be a way out of this place!
Get those two gentlemen! I'll get the one they call Lynx-O!
Well, my notes, you can see where I just cut to. Jail, full body shot of Bengali.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
The chains, the growls. They were doing something with this full body shot. This must have been for somebody.
Body yaddy 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 yaddy
yaddy. Yes, they're chained.
Well,
they're chained.
And it starts. It's a panning shot up his gorgeous body, but it starts on his crotch, very like shamelessly.
So who did they do this? Who did they do this for? Pretty hairs
for us.
For you, it was for you, and you get a crotch shot, and you get a crotch shot. You all get crotch shots. Another one of my awakenings. Now all we need is Broke Cat Mountain, where Lionel goes with him on a camping
I'm still
trip.
shipping Tigra and Bengali together. Those are I ship them together. The older tiger and the younger one. That's a tale as old as time.
The tale of two tigers.
The tale
A twink and an older man, huh? Okay.
Yeah, that's what. Although Tigra, he says he's old. I don't think he's old, really. Right? I think Tigra's like me when I say I'm old and we're in our 30s. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I think he should have. If I was them, I would have bottled up some of that water for when he
had his chance.
Willa would have flipped herself out. You cannot take the waters. Okay, so back to they're locked up. Excuse me, locked up. We just had to mention that beautiful shot.
But meanwhile, the other ThunderCats have split up again. Lionel says he has to go to the pyramid because he still suspects Mumm-Ra. And he tells Tiger and Cheetara I have written down that they have to muster all their ThunderCat strength. And I have no idea what that means. What does that mean?
That's the strength, but
it means that Cheetara needs to not go to the gold sale at the Burble Village. She needs to control herself and move on what she needs to do.
And Tiger doesn't do his drugs.
Tiger needs to lay off the psychedelic fruits for a while.
And everyone needs to take a nap.
And they need to calm themselves. I'm sorry, I would have never went to the pyramid. Useless. Who cares who orchestrated it? What were they going to do?
Well,
what were they going to do if they said, by the way, yes, it's me behind the curtain the whole time? Ha ha ha. Who cares? Just go get your countrymen. Use the Sword of Omens. Find out where they are.
Or follow the mutants. The mutants escaped. Follow them. See where they're going.
Yeah. Follow the trail of breadcrumbs from the mutants.
Follow the rat star.
Follow the rat star. But this is to boost up the...
Well, of course, but to me, that's is where it kind of... I lost me because there was... I mean, I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love the actual... He goes to the pyramid. I love the scene. I love everything that goes on there, but it wasn't necessary in my mind.
Well, it's to give us another cliffhanger, too, because unaware, Mumm-Ra is, of course, watching this everything that's been happening. And did you notice that Lionel got in relatively quickly this time?
Yes.
He knew the entrance, but yet, spoiler, Cheetara might be trying to look for it next week.
I feel like there's a lot of ways into this pyramid. Mumm-Ra needs to do a survey. Like, he needs to go through with an inspector and find all the secret doors and seal them up.
He needs to get some ADT there with some cameras and a keypad so that he can see when people besides. So he doesn't have to use the viewing thing. He should put a screen inside the sarcophagus so he doesn't have to go to the viewing pool. He can see.
Remember that? The LJN toy has a screen on the back of it.
On the back of the sarcophagus?
Yeah, so he should have some kind of viewing thing. But this is what I love, honestly. He gets in randomly. There's a random opening. Mumm-Ra. This scene with Mumm-Ra. Oh my god. He floats over and he waves him off and then he throws him.
Yeah.
What is he just
rolls him up like he's bowling.
And he throws him
throws the dog. I think he doesn't understand that it's a dog. I think he doesn't know what Mumm-Ra is.
He just doesn't want to fight.
Has Lionel ever seen a dog before? I don't know. And this dog is pretty hideous. At first he tries talking to it. Go, get out of the way. And then he throws the dog. It's pretty funny.
Out of the way, whatever you are. Go on now, I don't want to hurt you. All right then. Enough!
And then he's like, is it coming back? Because you see this like flames coming towards him. And sure enough, Mumm-Ra has a gallery of dead bodies that he's been... Of mummies?
But are they dead? Did you read into that at all?
That was horrifying, David.
They're his prisoners forever. Isn't that what he says?
But are they in some sort of like a captive state where they're like, if you unwrap them, would they still be alive? And like, would they, if they were freed from the wrap, that would be even more of a horrible.
So what's about to happen is these mummy wrappings are going to come alive and attack Lynx-O. And in the script, it says that as the wrappings come off, they expose the cadavers underneath. So they are dead bodies. But I think they took that detail out because it's a little too scary.
Yeah, this is like, if you weren't terrified from the nightmare and everything else, that would have been horrifying. Corpses like falling out of these things too. Yeah. It's already horrifying that Mumm-Ra has these. This is his decorations.
Well, and the thought of being like chased and it's like being buried alive, being mummified alive.
Yes,
it's scary.
Which is what happens, and Lynx-O gets wrapped up into the most adorable shaped... it looked like a top. It didn't even look like Lynx-O's body. It had the smallest head with his hair just caught under the door. And this body that just got gigantic with little legs.
Can we talk about the picture wall?
Picture writing?
Oh, well, that's... Yeah. Oh, you're right, David, because that's the button he's about to press, right? That the wrappings are stopping him from pressing.
So, as Mumm-Ra turns into a fireball, he jumps down into another part, and he also sees on the wall the writing, and I like that. I would love to explore Mumm-Ra's pyramid without him being around.
Yeah, me too.
No, and knowing that I can get out, obviously. Like that, they should have made this a ride at like Disney or something, or like an escape room. I would totally do Mumm-Ra's pyramid escape room.
But this mummy sequence is like it's both terrifying and it's one of the most memorable action sequences I think in the whole show.
Super cool.
It's like
super cool.
This whole episode, they spent a lot of like energy animating this episode, and this sequence is one of those sequences that's just, it's beautiful from start to finish.
I hate to say it, I think there's a step down from the animation between this movie and
Mumm-Ra Lives.
Mumm-Ra Lives,
yes.
A slight drop, but it makes sense that they thought, I mean, this was a movie, so I read that they said it was gonna go into the movie theaters, but due to the how bad Transformers did, and
did you read that in here?
No, it was online, so I don't know if it's true, but they said it was at one point considered for the movie theaters, and then they saw that Transformers the movie did terrible.
Oh.
And different, like, I want to say it was Care Bears or something else didn't do well either. And they said, well, because this could have been like Secret of the Sword, which would have been, God, that would have been amazing.
In the next episode of ThunderCats, the imprisoned Thunderians pull some tricks on their mutant captors and try to escape.
Can you vault high enough to catch on to one of those rings?
Meanwhile, Lynx-O has arrived at Fire Rock Mountain to help them, only to be confronted by his old friend, Hachiman, the samurai swordsman. But is Hachiman still his friend?
Defend yourself, Lynx-O!
So don't you know that the suns burn away the evil wrappings of Mumm-Ra?
Of course they do.
That's the best thing. It burns away the wrappings.
But, he was lying there all night, and Mumm-Ra didn't,
visit.
Comb his hair that was left
do a voiceover. Welcome to your new home for all eternity, Lord Lynx-O.
I'm surprised he didn't. Oh, you don't like your wrappings? Oh, Marmot. Yeah,
well,
I'm surprised he didn't.
Marmot is stuffed in a sarcophagus. Lynx-O stuffs him into a sarcophagus. And I don't think we see him again until Mumm-Ra lives. So he's still in there for a while.
Would you have thrown the Sword of Omens while you were being wrapped up if you couldn't use it anymore and hope that you could call for it again? Or do you think it would have just grabbed it?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, if your mouth is covered, you can't call for the sword.
I think we did that one time, David. You were screaming, oh, I forgot what it was on. It was one of these episodes. Oh, maybe the genie episode. I don't even remember. So yes, he's freed, right?
And he magically knows now, somehow, that Fire Rock Mountain is where the Thunderians are being held.
Yep.
He had all night to think.
And he says out loud what you said, David, that this was a useless errand. I guess I should just go to Fire Rock Mountain instead. Never mind
that he sleep of my life though on that stone floor.
But yeah, this is a big like little plot hole that he somehow knows that they're at Fire Rock Mountain.
Meanwhile, on Hook Mountain, yet another mountain, Tigra and Chitara and the snowman are trying to free Panthro. I love this scene. Because even Nomiao is even trying to push the tank as well. Everyone's working together.
Yep.
And then Tigra comes up with this idea. Chitara, you pull up as we push.
Yeah, it showcases all the vehicles working together. The music is really good. And then once Panthro is safe, they tell him that he should like rest and go home. And he's like, no, absolutely not. Like it reinforces the value that he places on the Thunderians' lives and the selflessness. It's the same theme again. Like, I don't care that the Thunder Tank is battered and that I just survived a fire. I'm still going to go try to help them.
And to your point, David, the tank earlier, it was set on fire now and still going strong. He don't need any upgrade. He goes, my baby. I think he even says my baby.
He says, again. That's like, my baby. Let's go.
I love him. I just love him.
And the immortal words of Shania Twain. So you got a car. That don't impress me much.
This is beyond a car, though. This does everything.
That's my baby. Let's go!
The Thundercats continue their journey to Fire Rock Mountain. And guess what? While flying over Tuscania, the Tuska warriors, the Ratstar is attacked by the Tuskas who free Snarf, and we get to see Tamagar again as well.
But here's the thing is, Rotaro, this is another one of those things, Rotaro is so smug and egotistical. Vultureman's like, that will take, Mumm-Ra calls up on the viewing on their screen. He's like, you will go there. I want to fortify my plan. You're getting your ass over there. So He's like, fine, we'll go. Because Mumm-Ra told us we had to go. And Vultureman's like, that'll take us through Tuscan land. And she's like, yeah.
We welcome you to Tuscan land.
Under the Tuscan sun. We should avoid that. And he's like, no, we'll just go right through it. Bad idea.
They're friends of the Thundercats, he says, Vultureman.
And Furharo says, "Who cares?" He laughs. He thinks it's funny. Like, well, he thinks he's invincible. He's so full of himself. Yeah.
Is it what he shoots once and then he says one more shot of that cannon will destroy them? So he's already he's just like, oh.
I think it's because he has the sword,
the size, the rat
daggers.
Size.
Yeah.
But Snarf, I wrote, he rolls over and throws himself into the control panel. Amazing. With Rotaro, he just hits him into the head with the control panel, all while duct taped.
But yeah, he's bound and gagged, and he still manages to sabotage the Ratstar.
Snarf. So the Tuskas go to the water. They're in the water. They're trying to, battle like that. Snarf, he makes his way to the beach somehow. He gets out of the Ratstar. He jumps out somewhere.
Oh yeah, how does he get out?
Rotaro goes to shoot at the Tuskas. And he rolls out with him. I think the side door opens and he rolls out.
And he's like, it's friend Snarf, which I always love.
Oh yeah, he tumbles out with Rotaro, you're right. Because the Ratstar goes down.
And that's the end, as we mentioned. So this is the end of Rotaro.
Yeah, I love that the story takes us to Tuscania because we remember from Termagar the Tuska that Tuscania is really far away. So I like that we're here because it makes the world feel bigger. This adventure is so big, it's taking us to some of the farthest places we've ever visited. I really like that.
All of these callbacks to all of these people that they have met, villains and friends. We just needed the warrior maidens. I was unsatisfied without seeing Willow. That's my one thing. But he also...
Oh my god, there's more cat people. We have to share this planet with Willow.
That's what it would have been like.
I don't trust these new cat people. They are cats.
They are. I didn't know they would like that. But when Snarf is, he has the tape over his mouth, and poor Tamagar's like, this is gonna hurt. I'm so sorry. Whoosh! Oh my god.
And it takes all the fur with it too.
Isn't that horrible? It must have hurt so badly. He's been through it. Electrocuted now this.
My goodness! It's friend Snarf! Oh my! You poor fellow! Hold very still now. Yes, I'm afraid this won't be pleasant.
Yike!
Oh, I'm so sorry, little friend. Come, you must tell us what happened.
But we do get that great little downtime where they gave him some food. He's like, oh, this is great, this fish or whatever this is. It's dark, and he's like, I can't stay, I need to get back to the ThunderCats because we got a whole thing going on. But I do love that night setup. I love the fire.
Yeah, they're sitting around the fire.
And our berserker fires, too. The berserkers have come ashore, don't you know?
Don't you know?
They also, we forgot to mention the Robert burbles that were, is it Bert?
Bert and Bob.
Not to be confused with Bert and Ernie.
Yeah. Bert and Bob are still on the berserker's ship, probably cooking.
Yep, still cooking.
So they have to be rescued as well. So while they're overhearing Tamagar and Snarf, they're overhearing the whole plan of the berserkers.
And it's a weird plan. I don't quite get it. Hammerhand says, we got paid gold to capture them. So let's go to Fire Rock Mountain and capture them again. And get paid.
They want to recapture them to get paid against Mumm-Ra.
It's like a twice baked potato. But that means you have to take it out of the oven first. Like you have to free them and then capture them again without anyone noticing.
And why do I feel like Mumm-Ra would have been like, "Oh no, I already
the wrath of Mumm-Ra."
yeah, I already paid you. Matter of fact, you got all those bags at your feet. I paid you enough. But they take our little old friend, the Gumpling, and they fly over to the berserker's ship, and Snarf tells the two burbles to row away to the shore.
First, they say, "Who are you?" And he says, and he's surprised because they're like, "You don't know who I am? I'm kind of a big deal. Like I eat all the candy fruit. I spend a lot of money on candy fruit.
I'm big in Japan. I'm big in
the Burble Village."
Does the name Snarf of the ThunderCats mean anything to you? Oh. Well, then you better get to that boat anyway. And we will never tell you the direction to the Burble Village, so
you'll never find it.
What's that? Impossible! But it sounds like Robears!
Who are you?
Does the name Snarf of the ThunderCats mean anything to you? Snarf, never mind. Grab one of those jet lifeboats. Make for shore and hide.
The Gumplin,
no G.
Gumplin says that he is willing enough to try and tow this ship away.
Yeah,
and
so
he does a great job.
He does a great job. They go all night.
And when
I like that.
They drive all night
to get to Snarf. And then the berserkers finally realize that it's going away.
There's the ship, Captain. The ship.
Yeah! Har! And we blasted near had to cross the ocean to catch up to it. Yeah! The berserkers got their ship back.
I'm sorry, friend Snarf, but this goblin couldn't pull it any further.
Oh, gosh. We've asked too much of the poor fellow already. But now Hammerhand will be heading back to Fire Rock Mountain to recapture our friends, the Thunderians.
The goblin is willing to try to stop them.
Oh, that's awfully brave of him, Termagar, but...
Attack, Goblin!
And they use top spinner. The engine on their little dinghy won't start, so they use top spinner as a motor. And the music is ridiculous, and the look on Hammerhand's face. I love these characters.
You're right; they should have been used more, especially since they just made toys out of them.
I think we all. I don't know what it is about pirates being pirates, but why do we love pirates so much? What is it?
I don't know. I think
the
it's
Jolly
just
Roger.
I don't know. They're very synonymous with like adventure. I guess I don't know. Like adventure and excitement and like the lore of the sea and mermaids and folklore and stuff like that. I don't know. Yeah.
And they tend to talk funny and like use silly words and have funny accents.
And repeat things 3 times, evidently. At the same time, we can't forget our Thunderian hostages. They're in Fire Rock Mountain chained. Mumm-Ra is able to free herself?
Yeah, they obviously they want to free themselves, but they overhear Slythe and Monkey and talking over the radio about laying a trap for the ThunderCats. That's what galvanizes them to want to escape. They don't just want to escape to free themselves. It's this thing again of wanting to save your friends. They want to escape so that they can save their saviors.
Yes. Yeah. The best people in the world. Or the cats.
And so they concoct a little plan where Lynx-O like uses his voice, I guess, to like vibrate.
I couldn't. Is that what it was? The voice? I couldn't tell if it was the voice.
He was doing his best Mariah Carey.
It's like a whistle tone, but it's like humming.
What's that?
Sounds like it's coming from the Thunderian cell.
And it shatters the wine glasses. Because the mutants are having this ridiculous feast, and he shatters their wine glasses. Go ahead, David.
I gotta say something to that. Did you love the part where Monkeyin is in the fist pounded way back with, in like episode 2 or whatever it was, and they're having that feast inside Fire Rock Mountain? He's like, Jackalman and Sly, they're having this all out goblets with wine and everything hanging out. They're like, Monkeyin, what do you want? Are you done yet?
They do appreciate food.
They do. So I thought that was hysterical. Yes.
In the script, Jackalman, he's enjoying his banquet a lot. In the script, it says that his feet are up on the table and he's chewing on a meaty bone. And then he takes a swig from his goblet, tosses the bone over his shoulder, wipes his mouth with the back of his hand, and says, "Ha!" after Sly mentions that they probably should be guarding the prisoners.
That's what I say to that. Ha! Here's that bone. I love that.
They're only countrymen. They're not even real Thundercats.
That's true. Let me wipe my mouth.
Commoners even. Commoners, Mumm-Ra said. Commoners.
Commoners?
You are beneath me.
So he says, "Is there a ring on the ceiling you could grab a hold to?" And she's like, "Yes." As a
matter of fact, there is.
One ring. She uses that leap that we see, that wonderful leap that she has.
And they lure the mutants in, they knock them out, and they run.
They're on the move again. ThunderCats are loose yet again. So don't you know, it's been too long without Mumm-Ra. We have to go back, and this enrages me a little. Because...
Speak on it. Speak on it, Ryan.
Who's a master swordsman? Who can go against the Sword of Omens? We did Excalibur. Hachiman. I say it like that because I always want to say Hachi-Man, but that's probably my New York in there. Hachi-Man. Hachiman. Hachiman. So he is fooled again.
Shogun Mumm-Ra with my fake axe.
How does he not know? He knows Mumm-Ra is the evil one, is so evil, and he goes, "You want to speak about favorite lines? Mine is, I shudder to show you this, Hachiman. I shudder to show you this whole scene. But let me tell you, things are
women hide your children. This scene is so horrible. I cannot even imagine that I would show this to you.
I shudder to show you this, Hachiman. But your samurai ancestor, your great uncle, Nishida.
But he seems to be in pain. Why?
Because Lynx-O holds his spirit in bondage. He hopes to gather added samurai strength and skill for himself to terrorize Third Earth.
I cannot believe this. Lynx-O-san is a man of honor.
Perhaps he once was, but lust for power has twisted his mind.
Yes, this has happened to good men before.
You must destroy the Eye of Thundera if you would save him.
Release me, Hachiman. Free my spirits.
I obey, honorable great uncle. The evil of Lord Lynx-O shall not go unpunished while Hachiman lives. Where shall I find him?
I know where Lynx-O will be. You will be waiting for him.
So he says, your great uncle, Nishida, is being...
What'd you just say, Nisi Nash? What?
Nishida.
Nishida is being held captive, and he's like, yes, Hachiman, free me. And he's like, I cannot believe that. Yeah, it's... Hachiman's accent is the most, like, you know, stereotypical thing. Lion-O-san. So he says Lion-O is holding the spirit hostage because, you know, this happens to a lot of great men, you know, Hachiman. You know, they want more power. So that's all it took. That's all it took.
To fool him.
Do you feel like he bewitched him, though? He bewitched him in a way, too?
There's a quick moment of, like, fire in his eyes that's, like, it's supposed to look like hypnotism, I think. Yeah. So maybe. But it is awfully...
He was too willing to believe it, but I feel like he did something, some sort of, like... He slipped him a little bit of the Tiger serum.
Oh
the
my
Tiger
God.
Roofie.
Eat this fruit while you're here, by the way. You had a long journey.
Silky. You know, Silky came over for a little while, gave him a little something.
Lion-O actually gets to the front of Fire Rock Mountain, the narrow bridge, and this is where he sees his old friend appear, which is, it's so sad. He's so excited to see him. Hachiman. Oh, he says, you know, Mumm-Ra-san showed me again what you... and he's like, well, that's it. Lion-O's just matter of fact, well, that's it. He lies.
Yeah, that's just what Mumm-Ra does. Come on.
You don't know? You didn't know that?
You don't remember last time he did this to you?
Hachiman, what are you doing here?
I have come to put an end to your evil.
What are you saying, Hachiman? We're friends.
Oh, friends? Would a friend defile the spirit of a friend's ancestor?
Your ancestor? I don't...
It is useless to pretend, Lord Lion-O. I know this from Mumm-Ra-san.
Mumm-Ra! He lies, Hachiman!
No! Mumm-Ra showed me what you have done!
Hachiman, like, charges towards Lion-O, but the bridge gives way and he slips. So Lion-O runs onto the bridge to save him. But Hachiman is still accusing him.
As he's hanging.
Yeah, still accusing him, and then Lion-O slips, and so the roles are reversed. And the fake spirit of his great uncle is there and saying, free me, Hachiman! And so Hachiman is faced with this quandary. And then do we get a freeze frame again?
We get a freeze frame of him hanging off the edge of glory. Another great ending, because we got to see our old friend again.
In the next episode, the ThunderCats battle their way toward Fire Rock Mountain for the final showdown against the evil forces of Third Earth. Lion-O watches as Jaga battles fiercely with Gloom the Destroyer, and Mumm-Ra flies in for the attack. Panthro takes on the Fist Pounder as he struggles to join Lion-O and save the Thunderians in the exciting conclusion to this special 5-part adventure.
Directly after this, he grabs him. He grabs Lion-O and saves him, realizing that Mumm-Ra has played him.
And he's easily convinced.
And that an ancestor would never ask you to kill one of your friends. Something like to that effect.
He said, yeah, I should have known I should have known the Territor, when the Territor didn't attack me, that he wasn't bad. I should have known. Yes, and he says, like Zack mentioned earlier, knowing that the fire rocks would make you weak, you still saved me? Lion-O-san? And he's like, yes, of course, you're my friend. And he's like, what are you doing here? And he's like, we have countrymen in this place. And he's like, I will help you. Because I could, which was fantastic. I thought this would have been great. He's like, I could cross this bridge for you. Allow me to help you.
Yeah,
please.
Very smart.
And I kind of do like that they're walking together.
Yeah, but they're walking together the wrong way. They probably should have walked toward the prison instead of away from it.
Exactly. You're halfway over. Just go to the other end.
No! Take hold of the bridge, Lion-O-san!
I can't, Hachiman. Slipping.
No, I will help you. You, Lord Lion-O, you were so frightened you could not move. I cannot believe this.
Down there are fire rocks, Hachiman. What we call Thundranium. It weakens ThunderCats, takes our strength.
So this. And knowing that, you came on the bridge to save me?
Because you are my friend.
Mumm-Ra has lied! My samurai ancestor would never demand that I destroy a friend. The code of Bushido forbids it. I am a fool.
You couldn't have known, Hachiman. Mumm-Ra's evil has no limit.
I am shamed, Lion-O-san. Allow me to help you. I ask humbly.
But they have that moment where they put a hand on each other's shoulder.
Yeah.
And then that's when Mumm-Ra loses his,
Oh, Nishida is angry.
He is pissed now. Now. You betrayed me, Mumm-Ra? After I plucked you from a different dimension and time and lied to you and wanted you to kill your friend. You're gonna betray me? Nuh-uh.
Is this when Mumm-Ra calls up Captain Shiner to come back again? So you gotta... Shiner...
Wait, Q, this is going to be expensive, Mumm-Ra. You're always... Let me get my calculator out.
Twice in one day, that's gonna be some overtime.
Yeah.
Seek and destroy them.
I'm tired of this game, Mumm-Ra. The price will be high.
Pay me a price, and it is yours.
Very well, Mumm-Ra. Switch on the space scanner.
But it almost looked too like he was... Yes, you're like, he's calculating things, but if you put it in a modern lens, it looked like he was texting on a phone when Mumm-Ra was trying to tell him things, right?
He's not... Yeah, he's just being lazy. He's like playing Candy... Or I guess it's the 80s. He's playing Tetris.
Yes.
And the whole... Even in the subsequent scenes, because Mumm-Ra tells him to go to Fire Rock Mountain because the Thundercats are all heading there. So he needs more people there to defend the prison. And yeah, Tigra and Chitara meet up with the Virtus, and again, it's just like Rotaro. Shiner's just so full of himself. He's just sitting there playing his little game.
He won't even look around.
No.
He like the driver or whatever, the pilot is like, blah, and he's like, oh, yeah, do it.
Switch on the space scanners.
Yes, like what did he tell Mumm-Ra? I'm getting tired of these games.
Yes.
I'm getting tired of this.
My Amazon package is not here yet.
But he tells Mumm-Ra famous line. This is one of your favorite, Davids. Seek and destroy. He doesn't repeat it 5 times, though. But he says, seek and destroy. That's what his mission is. And that's when I wrote, he looks busy. He's texting or updating his Facebook instead of shooting. I love this. Tigra and Chitara board the ship. They rip a hole in the bottom.
In the air duct?
Yeah, like there's a door that would open, I think Chitara says, but they just rip it open.
Now, how do they stay upside down?
Anti-gravity?
Chitara's upside down when she...
I don't know, actually.
She's upside down.
Yeah, I
and she
think
uses the claws to rip open the...
There must be a seatbelt. There has to be a seatbelt. And I'm just hearing the music. I love it. They break in, and it's nice to have Tigra and Chitara to have a moment of shining in this, no pun intended, in this episode. They lock up his men, 2 of his guards, people.
In the same room where Bengali, Mumm-Ra, and Lynx-O had been chained up. It's the same chains. There's actually this shot of like Chitara's shadow passing over the chains dramatically. Like, look, and it's like remember the horrible things that happened here, so that when we punish Captain Shiner, we remember why we're punishing him.
I throw my staff at you.
It's true though that it's exactly, and it's so sad because they could have gotten them at some point. Unfortunately, they were on that ship, but
they make their way to the flight deck, and Shiner's still playing on his phone, not paying attention. And Tigra like grabs him with the whip, and they tie them up.
And then they blast them off. They shoot them off like a rocket.
In hyper speed or whatever, the fastest the ship will go straight up.
Yep.
And what does he say? It'll take us to like interdimensional space. Well, I don't know what he says,
into
but basically
deep
so
space.
Far away.
They'll be in deep space within seconds.
Full throttle. Full throttle? But we'll be light years away, in deep space in seconds.
Sorry we can't join you, Shiner.
No, you can't do this.
10 seconds to blast off, Tigra.
Let's move.
Like, bye, Shiner.
I'm assuming the ship has a way of avoiding and colliding with things like asteroids and stuff, or they're just dead, and that's why he never came back, because they just shot him straight up.
Yeah, it's basically, it feels like a death sentence, but if anyone can wriggle his way out of it, I feel like Shiner can.
They thought he was a goner the last time. Matter of fact, the last episode we mentioned he would come back, but they don't go, oh, Shiner, he's alive. It's just, matter of fact. Then we get, I think, one of the coolest things ever. It's so out of place, but the countdown on the screen.
Very out of place.
Yes, loved it.
There's doing so many new things and trying so many different new... That's what I think is so heightened and excited about this season. We never saw anything like that in the first season, this countdown to escape the Virtus. Oh, the kittens! Because the berserkers are still at sea, and the whole thing with Snarf and Tamagar is still happening. And the skyboards become like surfboards?
The spaceboards, yeah, I guess they float. I guess they're surfboards too. Yeah, the Snarf and Tamagar have been flying all night on the Gumplin. And the Gumplin's had it. He wants to go home.
And Snarf's like, we asked too much of the poor thing already. Thank you, Snarf. Thank you for mentioning that. Because, yes, this thing has been pulling a ship.
So then the kittens show up to relieve them. And then it's kittens versus berserkers for a little while.
Honestly, I love when they give the kittens things to do like this and actually show that they are part of the team and can do. Yes, okay, so it was a little rocky at points after they got shot out, but they throw all of their pellets.
Didn't you want to see more, though, when they threw the pellets other than some smoke? I wanted to see explosions. I wanted to see a dinosaur thing, inflatable dinosaur thing. I wanted to see, like, a smorgasbord of just bizarre things. Gooey stuff that makes them stick. I wanted all of it. I didn't want just a smoke screen.
It's almost like everything just exploded, right?
So this is my, I love this part. The ThunderKittens are facing off against the Berserkers, who were on their, remember, there was a sea approach to Fire Rock Mountain. So that's the way we're headed. Meanwhile, Panthro is going on like through the mountain pass to get to Fire Rock Mountain, and he meets up with the Fist Pounder, and he and Monkey have a moment of battling back and forth. And the Fist Pounder, how does Panthro get there?
He makes the Fist Pounder somehow go reverse. Follow
yeah. That's it. It's like driving itself, and it's chasing Monkey in. And these two storylines just unexpectedly converge in this like perfectly comedic way, where the Fist Pounder comes, it's chasing Monkey and it careens off the cliff, and Hammerhand looks up, and the look on his face is just golden, and he says, "Whoa, what's that?" The Fist Pounder comes and smashes into the boat and sinks it.
Go again.
And it's great. It's like a nice perfect little bow on these two storylines, bringing them together. And yeah, the ship goes down again.
The ship goes down again, and the crew,
yeah,
they drown again. They're destined to drown. This is their destiny. You come back, you drown. They're
doppelgangers. They're ready to die again.
Because you never see them coming to shore or anything. It literally goes bloop. Yep. Bye.
And Wily Kid are like, yeah, that's the end of that.
ThunderCats Ho.
Bye.
This is everybody saying at the same time, we have to get to Fire Rock Mountain. We have to get to Fire Rock Mountain. They're all coming together for the big finale.
Did you feel the magic? Did you hear the roar?
We did, because what happens is Mumm-Ra shows up and goes, "Oh no, you betrayed me. You went against me."
Bye-bye.
And he...
"You are the biggest bungler."
"You will not." Hachiman disappears. Thankfully, they go, "Oh my god, what happened?" Because it looks like he exploded, probably, and disappeared, disintegrated. And Chaga comes and goes, "He's back in his own time, in his own dimension."
And Lino, don't tell me that you don't need my help. Because I will get mad at you and disappear again forever.
Lionel, is this when Lionel says to him, like, "How are we gonna cross?"
Yeah.
And he's like, "Well..."
Mumm-Ra, defend yourself, evil one.
You have betrayed me.
Hachiman, what has Mumm-Ra done to him?
Hachiman is safe, Lion-O.
Jaga!
He is back in his own time, in his own dimension.
I'm glad to hear that. But we failed. There's nothing more we can do.
There is something, Lion-O. The Star of Thundera. It can render the Thundranium harmless to you.
Then I must have it. How can I get it, Jaga?
I will try, Lion-O. I will try.
When does Mumm-Ra do his out of the pyramid transformation, which is one of the only times I
think it's here.
It's just after this.
I think it's right here, out in the open. He's doing it right in front of everyone. He wants to show off. So Mumm-Ra blasts him away, and now all of the ThunderCats are there. And is I believe this is when Jaga tells him, there's something that out there that is so powerful that if I could get this, I'm going to try. I'm not guaranteeing you. I'm going to try. And they just wait there. So I don't know what happens. What are they doing when Jaga's off on this quest? Because
they're just hanging out and they're watching. I think Mumm-Ra. This is when Mumm-Ra transforms, maybe.
Yes,
because Mumm-Ra overhears. Mumm-Ra can hear Jaga, so he overhears what Jaga's saying.
Is that being dead to dead? They can do that since they're both dead.
Maybe.
I see dead people.
Yeah,
I am a dead person, so I see other dead people. Yeah, Jaga explains the latest Deus Ex Machina, which is the Star of Thundera, the greatest power in the universe.
That was a bit much for me. I'm going to be honest with you. This is where this jumped the shark a little bit for me.
Yeah, it's the greatest power in the universe that we've never heard of before and we'll never hear about again. But Mumm-Ra becomes obsessed. He doesn't, honestly, I don't think he cares at this point about the Thunderians anymore.
No.
For him now, it's just about this super powerful thing.
Locket.
Yeah.
Well, it was turned into a locket. Hello. Just wasn't a locket hanging out in space.
No, it wasn't a locket. Now, I actually have a question for you, too. Is that actual Groon summoned, or is that Mumm-Ra pretending to be Groon?
Oh, it's actually Groon summoned.
It is actually... Oh, because for some reason, the way he worded it, Mumm-Ra, and I don't know what it was, but it almost seemed like, like he was gonna just pretend to stop him, but it was Groon. Okay, so it was Groon. There was that beautiful shot of Jaga flying in the air towards the Star of
colorized, too. Colorized. He wasn't blue.
Yeah, it must be in, like, the astral world where all the stars and ghosts live. And it's like, kind of trippy. It's like sort of psychedelic, this like all these colors, and then there's this black planet that is like it's evil gravity.
Jaga's in like Zack said, he's in the spirit realm, the astral plane, and he's gonna clasp I guess it's Thundera? Is that what it's supposed to represent?
No, it's the star of Thundera. I think it's supposed to, I don't know if it's like Thundera's sun, like the red sun of Krypton, like the red sun of Thundera.
Oh my god. Oh, they're really going Superman again.
Well, it's not the Star of David. I can tell you that.
He's about to grab it, and of course, my old friend Jaga, as Groon comes out and tries to block him, and there's a battle that ensues. But it actually goes very quickly. Jaga knew
he was Jaga blocked.
Jaga was like, I need to go. So he battles him. He gets there.
The star saves him, and the star agrees to lend itself to the cause. So the star is like a god. It's like,
you heard everything we was talking about, so you're willing to work with us. Oh,
is that what
you.
He says?
And you're turning yourself into a size of a 8-ball. Yes, a magic little pebble so I can carry you.
He does say that, right? You must know why we've come then, and you've accepted to help us then, and it blinks into the cat symbol.
Oh, yes, that's right. You're right, it does.
Star of Thundera, since you saved me, you must know of the ThunderCats mission. Will you grant us the use of your power so that the mission can be completed? Good.
The star gave us its power?
Not gave, Lion-O. Power is never a gift, but a responsibility.
Yes, Jaga.
Wear this talisman, and the Thundranium will not harm you. Go, bring back our countrymen.
Good luck, friend.
He's like, okay, that's double the reinsurance. Okay, let me grab you. This turns into the necklace, and he brings it back to Lion-O. I love this, that even Jaga was involved in helping everything. I kind of do. I like that. So he's like, if Lion-O says, if I put this on, we all hold hands, and we'll walk across the bridge together because you will be able to get through.
He's like, you Bengali, hold my hand first. Forget it. And then followed by the old man and then the girl.
But somehow, Lion-O gets there by himself.
Well, the Thunderians escape on their own. Like, up until this point, they didn't need help at all. I guess they do need help to cross the pits again. They did everything in their power and got as far as they possibly could have all on their own.
With Lynx-O's ears, yeah. He's like, this is the way. And they're like, well, he hasn't steered us wrong this time, so here we go. So they get to the front of the entrance, actually, and they're like, that's the ThunderCat. I think they say the Thundercat, like it's like he's one.
Yeah, the one from earlier, yeah.
That's that.
The one who left us on the
Thundercat.
boat to die. Oh, wait a minute. What? No, but you didn't hear that. That was my inner dialogue.
The greatest body. The greatest body. So they get to the kind of the front where Mumm-Ra is. This is where this all is happening. At the same time as Lion-O gets there.
They hold hands.
Like Zack said, Mumm-Ra is all about now this star. So the Thunderians are there, but now he's like, I will be master of the universe if I get this.
This will be our final battle.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like,
He-Man.
he's gonna be master of the universe.
He got the talisman.
The Star of Thundera, the greatest power in the universe, is mine! Mine alone!
No, Mumm-Ra! You mustn't open the talisman!
You tell me what I must and must not do? Mumm-Ra, who now rules the universe?
I think he swoops and grabs just like that right off his neck.
Mm-hmm. Very rude.
And he's got it in his hand, and this one Jaga goes, no, please.
Mumm-Ra, don't.
Mumm-Ra, don't do it.
And he's like, you're telling me?
Yeah. He says, you tell me what to do? Mumm-Ra, who now rules the universe? Okay, Mumm-Ra. He opens it like a nut, like a chestnut, or a locket. Oh, I'll say locket.
I was going to say little orphan Annie opening up the locket with her parents' pictures in it, maybe.
All right. Okay, not a chestnut. All right.
It's a hard knocked afterlife.
It really is. He's got the mutants cleaning up. Mumm-Ra disappears. And they say, I don't see him. Did the star destroy him? Maybe. Jaga. I think, is it Jaga who goes, maybe? Possibly.
As what does he say? As happens to all people that try to
seek ultimate power, basically.
And then he also corrects, again, he gotta get that moment in to correct Lion-O. The Star of Thundera didn't give you its power. It's on a owner. It just decided to help you. This is not yours.
I don't see Mumm-Ra, Jaga. Has the Star of Thundera destroyed him?
Perhaps, as all who seek such power are ultimately destroyed. It belongs to the universe alone.
It's over then?
Not quite. There's still Rataro to deal with for what he did to the Thunder Tank.
No need for that, Panthro. Rataro's ship has been disabled.
Congratulations, Snarf. You're a true Thundercat after all.
Yeah!
Come, friends, let's get back to the lair. We've got some celebrating to do. ThunderCats Ho!
Thunder, 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 Thundercats!
Yeah, Jaga. He's always got to teach a lesson, man. That's his shtick.
Just go back to the astral plane. You're annoying me.
We do get a shot of our burbles, Bert and Bob. They are overwatching everything. They've seen it all.
And they seem satisfied, but like, will they ever make it to the village? I don't know.
I think they're just happy they're off the island. They're happy they're off the island. Well, Snarf did tell them, watch. Wait, or whatever, hide. So they've been watching this whole time.
Or they were just, I took it, they were just so thrilled that they were rescued that they didn't even care what happened to them. They're just like, we'll be stuck here, but at least our friends got off this
Maybe they're eventually gonna try to follow them back.
I mean, they still have the boat. They could go back to the island and just live out the rest of their little burble lives together.
Until they overpopulate that island, and then they have to go to the mainland.
If they didn't start
only to find more burbles that just shot back up into space.
I wish we did go back to that island at some point. I feel like it would hold, significant memories for them. Like it would have been fun to have one episode that takes place on the island.
You don't remember when we left that artifact from our ship on the island?
Or Mumm-Ra could make them think that they never met the ThunderCats, all the new countrymen, and sent them back to the island.
Back to the islands.
Memory
back
erase.
To the islands. Back to Sandals.
That should have been at least a two-parter, if that was the case. Anyway.
So, they come face to face with the ThunderCats for the first time, the whole entire team. They're all together. Is this when we cut to outside Cat's lair?
Yeah.
Or does... So we're outside Cat's lair. They say Mumm-Ra maybe says it's just like the one on Third Earth or
on Thundera, yeah.
On Thundera, thank you. And Lynx-O brings up that he knows that Lion-O is the Lord of the ThunderCats because he hears his father's voice in him, which I thought was kind of sweet.
Yeah, I like that. That's a nice touch.
And they all curtsy.
They do a little quick bow with the arm across the chest.
He's like, you're listening to the Lord of the ThunderCats or whatever. And then he goes, he's like, you must tell me about my father. And he's like, when I visit. And oh, you thought you were leaving? Sorry. You're going to be living here with us from now on. But we do get that wonderful moment when they say that on Thundera, only ThunderCats lived in the Cat's lair. And here, well, guess what? You are going to be ThunderCat.
Once I make it official, once I change our friendship status online, you are I'll be ThunderCats.
But he says basically you've shown yourself to basically be ThunderCats. And it's funny because he hasn't actually seen half the stuff that we have. All he knows is that they managed to escape on their own. But yeah, they absolutely have proven themselves to be.
You're right, he didn't see any of this, Zach.
No, maybe they recounted it to him. Maybe on the way back, on the long drive home.
Isn't it like 30 minutes? It's 30 minutes to the pyramid, right? Or Castle Plundar. So maybe it wasn't.
This is even further. This is even. Did you not? I guess because getting back to when Mumm-Ra is may have been destroyed. Didn't you want to be a little more dramatic? I wanted to see I wanted it to be we need to step a little further away from this platform where he is being cooked alive right now. I wanted more destruction. I wanted light to come out. I wanted explosion. I wanted to see the whole mountain. And didn't the mutants go inside?
Yes. Oh, we forgot to mention that. They come out and then they go back inside, which means that they would have also been buried.
Perished.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It feels like just a little oops. Because, they're playing cards in the next episode.
The trauma. We get to see that the table has enough seats right now. I will say, in the next episode, it looks like those seats have been taken. I don't know where they put those extra chairs, but there's enough seats now. Everyone's celebrating at the table. This is when we do the ceremony, right? It's right at the table. Very
official.
It doesn't have to be a big call all the warrior maidens, Lion-O's anointment trials. We're just
no funny hats, no funny hat,
no party hats,
furry hats,
nothing. So he says, ThunderCats Mumm-Ra, ThunderCat Lynx-O, and ThunderCats Bengali, and they get new outfits, but also the cat symbol. That is when they're endowed with the power, I assume then. As soon as the symbol was given to them.
Well, when he says ThunderCats Ho, when he does the call, I think that's the whole...
That stuck it in. That sealed the deal. That's... Oh my
it's like,
God.
do you feel that? Do you feel that coursing through your veins? It's not crystal methamphetamine. It's the cat symbol.
It's catnip.
Welcome to Third Earth. ThunderCat Lynx-O. ThunderCat Mumm-Ra. ThunderCat Bengali.
Brother.
ThunderCats Ho!
Are we missing anything at this moment? We get a ho.
We get one final ho, one final ThunderCats ho.
Brother, yes.
And we get Tigra taking Bengali by the shoulders and saying brother.
Which
is like a weird point of contention, right? Because I think it's pretty clear that he means brother and the we're all brothers.
Arms.
Yeah.
But no, there's definitely confusion, especially in some other licensed materials like comics and annuals in the UK, where the people writing it actually do say that they're actual brothers, which I don't buy.
They took it too serious.
Yeah.
No, because if that was the case, I think there would have been a huge whole thing of
my
brother, I thought you were dead. Yeah, it's totally brother.
I think it's also that on his character sheet, where they were defining what he looks like for the animators, they referred to him as Tigra's albino brother. And then but then in parentheses it's like from the same race, the same tribe.
Okay. So it wasn't a She-Ra moment. It wasn't my brother.
Brother. No, Jago would have, there before you, this man is
your brother.
Oh,
but you also had a younger brother. And he needs you right now, Tigra. He needs you.
I thought it was an awesome awesome way to begin our new adventures. A refresh, a revamp, a slight revamp, even down to the music cues. Everything feels fresh. Everything is heightened, I feel like, and more exciting.
Yeah, and I think that Lion-O anointing them as ThunderCats is both, it's a nice ending, they deserve it, but it also closes the loop, I think, for him on what started all of this. Like, it started because they left them behind because his life was more important than theirs was. And now he's raising them up to the same level to say, no, you're my equals. Yeah, so he rights the wrong by making them ThunderCats and saying, like, you are just as valuable as any of us.
Hopefully ending the nightmare.
Yeah, and maybe ending the nightmare. And later on, like way down the line in the series, I feel like this foreshadows some of the ways he wants to rule Boiler on New Thundera.
That's a whole, oh my god.
Yeah.
That's a whole other storyline that kind of makes you go, David, your feelings about this movie / 5-part?
Loved it. I am so appreciative that they did actually get new ThunderCats. I feel like the ThunderCats deserve it. They've been stranded on Third Earth, a hostile planet. They've made many friends along the way because of the Code of Thundera, because of they actually uphold that, and they have helped so many and created so many friendships. But it was nice to see, again, to ease Lion-O's mind of what he went through. I think it invigorated the whole show and opened up possibilities to new hostilities, new situations, new experiences. Remember, they've been on this secluded island. They have not seen all of Third Earth, and the original ThunderCats haven't either, to that fact.
No, clearly not. No, they haven't. Clearly.
I just think it invigorated it. I like the idea of where it's going. I think it was a good thing, and if I was in the ThunderCat world, it's nice to have seen more of my countrymen and be more involved and have them, and they need the help, because as we see that there's always bigger, better foes and things coming at you, and it's also gonna force certain beings to up their game, because as of now the mutants they're like, oh god, he's calling again. Mumm-Ra's put
in the middle of the night.
Just just put him to voicemail. I don't want to hear another thing from him because they're just done. The mutants I feel like they've been exhausted. They're just done. That's my thought, and I actually really enjoyed it. I was still taken aback from the opening. I wish there would have been a little bit alluding to that, and maybe just a quick thing of them, like the first episode, them perspective of Mumm-Ra, Lynx-O, Bengali, how they escaped with the Burbles, and a little bit more of that.
Oh, like making the land.
As opposed to be like, yes, and there's 3 countrymen, and that's it, and blah, blah, blah. They survived, and 3 seconds later, now cue the opening credits. Like, I still would have liked a little bit more in that way. I don't know.
Another episode of what happened to them on the islands, maybe?
Just a little bit more. I was taken aback by how quickly that just blew my mind. So maybe I don't know.
You were used to only a few Thunderians surviving. Now you got a whole team. Gentlemen, to wrap up our massive episode, we still have one thing to do.
Uh-oh.
I don't even know who I'm picking either. This is the biggest bungler.
Bunglers! You bungler! Once again, you have failed. You bungled it! Delightful.
This is a supersized edition. You should have like that music, like oh.
Bow, 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 bow.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
I don't know if we could even give a single bungler with this movie, because
I can.
Me too.
You can. All right. Oh, wow. I was going to say, because Mumm-Ra pretty much covered all of his bases. So yes, I would love to hear what you two think, because I'm just... besides not working together, maybe.
I think if we were just talking about individual episodes, who's the biggest bungler in a specific moment, I think it's Hachiman being a complete... But I'm not going to... That's not my answer, because we're talking about the whole movie. I think it's Lion-O. I think his sort of... the blinders he has on throughout the whole thing, not calling for help, going it alone, sending people in weird directions... The way he handled himself on Hammerhand's ship at the very beginning is just the start of it, I think. It takes him 3 episodes to let anyone know where he even is. They all think he's just missing. He goes to the pyramid for no good reason. Even if we ignore the thing about, like, where did he find out about Fire Rock Mountain? He tries to tell Hachiman, like, no, you shouldn't go in the prison by yourself. That's not a good idea. And Hachiman's like, no, I insist. But then he doesn't do it. I just think that all of Lionel's actions along the way just don't feel fully thought out, and I think he's a little too hyper-focused trying to do it himself, and he's not thinking. They never have a moment where they sit down and make a plan. And as a leader, you would expect that to happen. Like, the only time it happens is at the very beginning when they say, Wily Cat, go talk to the fishermen. We'll finish up work on the vehicles and then we'll go. They talk about Lion-O knowing the value of teamwork, but I can't think of a single scene where he works with anybody else but himself. Hot take.
No, that's great. I didn't even think of that. That's so true. All of that and Hachiman, yes. Honestly. David?
So, like Zack is saying, I definitely believe that Lion-O bungled significantly throughout the whole movie, only because of the lack of communication. Did I not say, like, at some point, you have communicators, communicate. Try to tell Tiger that you're the one flying in the Sky Cutter, not Slide. The communication, or lack thereof. I'm still alive. If that communicator was inside his claw shield, I'm still alive. Don't worry. Or here, I'm on Hook Mountain, whatever. So that definitely, Hachiman for believing Mumm-Ra, again, just sheer stupidity. I don't even know if that's a bungle.
Yeah, it's not a bungle, it's just stupid.
I will say Mumm-Ra bungled, even though I think his plan was way too elaborate.
Too many
I think he just threw stuff at the wall and to see what would stick. It's like, oh, just throw Mutant there. Oh, we got to do a handoff over here. We got to do this. And he didn't really oversee. At this point, he has not been hurt or damaged by the Star of Thundera.
No.
He had his full Mumm-Ra powers. I would have been out. I would have said, Ancient Spirit's evil. Give me an energy boost. I got a big plan going on. Let's go. And I would have had more of my hand in this as opposed to leaving it to people who typically bungle all of these plans.
Yeah.
So I'm giving the bungle, I'm going to say equal bungle, Lion-O's lack of leadership and communication, because I know he, like you had said before, I think he felt so strongly about saving the same people that he thought perished. But I'm going to go with Mumm-Ra as well, because I feel like he bungled just too much elaborate, too many, what do they say? Too many chefs spoils the broth. So
too many hands in the kitchen.
Yeah, it's too many hands in the kitchen. So I'm going to say they had equal footing. For me, it was both. They both bungled, and they both bungled on the side of good and the side of evil. So you got your two big bunglers.
Now you have me wondering if he enlisted so many people to help him because he knew they might screw it up. So he wanted, but you're right. Once they get to Fire Rock Mountain, what's his plan? Like he just assumes they have to cross the Thunderanium pits because they have to rescue the prisoners, and then what?
Fall over.
Yeah.
And then we
just knock them all in the pit. Once they're all there, just push them.
Yeah, something.
Yeah. But no, he just paces back and forth.
He loves to pace.
He's a voyeur. He's a voyeur. He likes to watch, Zack. He's a voyeur.
He is. We know that ancient spirits of voyeurism. Isn't that what, is it Matesh or Leah said one time? So I'm going with both of their bungles because I honestly can't. They're both perfect. They're amazing.
And I will say one more thing. Ego is the biggest bungler on the part of all of them in one way. Ego that thinks that Lion-O could handle it all himself. Ego that Mumm-Ra thinks he can't be defeated. No, he's been defeated numerous times. Ego on Ritaro. Ego Vulture Man. Ego Monkeyin. Egos across the board. A lot of ego going on.
That's always their downfall, right? Their megalomania. Yeah.
And then we'll find out soon. It might be the default of other future villains. I don't know. Maybe.
And those poor burbles they bungled those. They didn't let those poor burbles ever find peace. They're still wandering someplace.
They better be there. Well, in our headcanon, we can say that they got
the biggest bungler is whoever built their ship, and the gas tank didn't have enough gas to make it to the village.
Bunglers, I don't even know where to begin. This was the amazing start to season 2. It only gets even more exciting, and things are amping up here. The stakes are amping up.
Who is the biggest bungler?
Fun facts. Zack has brought our facts for us, which we haven't had in a while. So I will leave that to him.
Yeah, so some fun facts. So like we said at the beginning, this movie sometimes aired as 5 separate episodes. When Leonard Starr first wrote them, he gave each episode its own title. So Part 1 was originally called The New Thunderians. Part 2 was originally called Fire Rock Mountain. Part 3 was called Avalanche, which I love as a title for an episode.
That's great.
Part 4 was the return of Hachiman, and Part 5 was the new ThunderCats. But those all got revised to just, ThunderCats Ho, parts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. When it aired as a movie, there were some scenes that had to be cut for length. In Part 1, the biggest, and I should say that when I was a kid, I saw the movie version, so I didn't see these scenes until a lot later. And I can attest that the omissions did work. But in Part 1, the entire assault on the island, on the beach, is gone. So...
Really?
You don't see the Thunderians fighting back. It seems like they're completely unprepared. It cuts right from the storming of the beach to Bengali saying, prepare for hand-to-hand combat. So there's that whole segment on the beach is gone. And it makes them seem a lot more defenseless.
Yes.
There's also a deleted scene in Part 1 where when they discover that the Burbles can cook, the Berserkers have their own cook on the ship, but he's not very good. So they fire him. Literally, they fire him. They hoist him on the rail, and Ram Bam slams into him, and he goes launching over the horizon.
We got that too. That's hysterical. I wish we would have got.
I know, right? They're just obsessed with food. All of those hints about the fist pounder, those visual hints where you can see it in the background when Slythe and Jockleman are talking over the radio, those scenes are gone. So when the fist pounder finally shows up, it's an even bigger surprise in the movie version.
Yes, I could imagine then.
There's also a deleted sequence. Slythe and Jockleman are asking why they're not being paid. Why is Mumm-Ra paying the Berserkers but not us? And Slythe is still under the illusion that Mumm-Ra is going to share power with them once he wins. So they're going to get paid in land, I guess, not gold. In Part 3, when Lion-O goes to the pyramid, the entire sequence with Mammut is missing. So he enters under the pyramid and is immediately in the Hall of Mummies. Nothing with Mammut up above.
We don't see him bowling.
Yeah, no dog bowling.
Oh my god.
In Part 4, when the Berserkers are around the campfire planning their next move, that's shortened a lot. There's that moment, there's that little quibbling they have about the gold, and that's taken out to just have it be purely about the plan to recapture the Thunderians. And there's also a moment in Part 4 where when Lion-O gets to Fire Rock Mountain and summons the other Thundercats, Wily Cat says, and this is very smart, he says, won't the Thundercat signal also attract all of our enemies?
Ooh.
And it's oh yeah, it would. Why has that never happened before? Why don't the enemies follow the signal?
And not the Thunderians on the island. We'll never see it. Still, you said, David.
Yeah, so lots of little omissions, lots of little changes between the two versions, and some extra stuff in the script that never quite made it. But either way, whether you watch it as a full movie or as 5 separate episodes, I think it's just a great grand adventure, and it's just a great showcasing of places and characters. It feels like a bigger adventure that's showcasing the entire world of the show.
1,000%. And it sets up the new adventures so nicely. So Bunglers, you had a special treat this month. You have an extra long season premiere, and you have another 5-parter right after that. Stay tuned for all of that and more. Of course, we would love to hear what you thought of our premiere, and we will be bringing back our Bungler mail as well. But this episode was just so humongous that Bungler mail will be shifted to the next episode. Whatever you write in, we always love it and appreciate it so much. Zack, thank you so much for being here for this.
Thank you so much. We always a pleasure. Your insight, having your presence, your passion. So we definitely made this so much more than it could possibly be. So we're graciously thank you. Thank you so much. So, and can't wait to do more with you.
Thank you for having me again. It's always so much fun. And I'm honored to be able to kick off your second season here.
Yeah, this is the best way to start season 2, though. I'm really pumped. We have, I love it. Okay, so you can always reach David at Universal Appeal 2020, all one word, and the Radical Retro Rewind podcast, one word, on TikTok, YouTube, Instagram, and beyond. So you get next week, Bunglers. You don't have to wait any longer. You get the follow-up next Friday, right after this. And we get the introduction of new villains. So that's very exciting.
Is Mumm-Ra dead or alive? I don't know.
He was ripped apart.
Don't you think Jaga could have seen him in the astral plane?
Yeah.
Just saying.
And we'll see how Jaga handles this situation as well. That's another thing. So, ThunderCats Ho.
And who you calling a hoe?
Can I be the Ho this time?
I shudder to show you this, Hachiman.